Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
How's it going, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. This is episode number 465. Number 465 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. That's 465. And before we get into anything else, I'd like for everybody to please spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around like wildfire. And let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you have not done so, please follow me on Twitter. The Twitter name to follow is PoliticsGhost. All one word, no underscores. PoliticsGhost is the name to follow. Now that we got all that out of the way, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. I hope everybody had a very pleasant weekend. I don't want to get into the festivities of what has transpired this weekend until the end of the broadcast. And for you folks that were attending Saturday, you know what I'm talking about, all right? Now, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into the markets because I want to get through this as much as possible because there is major news to be discussed here on this broadcast. Very, very serious business to be discussed here. And we may even take a couple of calls here because this is very serious. So once again, if you don't know the number, 516-453-9903 is the number to call here. But before we do, let's just go ahead and get this market on the road. Let's just go ahead and talk about the markets now. We're seeing negativity in the markets, folks, because first and foremost, there is no reason why these damn markets should be at 20,000 points to begin with. But with that being said, folks, what have I been telling you about this dollar? Huh? What have I been telling you? The rise of the dollar. This is a bull market on the dollar, folks. I'm not even joking around. I mean, the U.S. dollar is the thing to have at this point. And now that we are factoring in, when I say we, I'm talking about the investors in the investment community are factoring in a potential Federal Reserve interest rate increase for March 15th, we are just laying wait to see how large that increase is going to be. As I stated, folks, if it's anything higher than a quarter point, expect to see some major waves in the market, man. Major waves. And not to mention, expect those dollars that are in your pocket to be more and more valuable. Now, I hate to keep reiterating this, folks, but these are very complicated subject matter, so repetition is necessary for everybody to kind of have this sink in. Now, the reason the Federal Reserve raising interest rates is so dangerous at this point in time, and I know everybody who's listened that's already heard this, just keep quiet. We have to let everybody know what's going on here. This is what this show's about. Now, there is a big over-speculation going on the U.S. dollar. Why? Because of uncertainty in most international markets. All right? Most international markets. Now, you take a look at Europe, for instance, the EU, obviously economically is in a mess. Politically, it's precarious to say the least, with the oncoming elections in France with Le Pen and Fillon and the other candidate, I forgot what the other candidate's name is, and of course the Netherlands election with Wilders being the wild card in that particular election. So you got a lot of investors in the European Union not wanting to cash out in euros, nor do they want to cash out in British pound sterling, aside from a hard Brexit impending, because I got to hand it to Theresa May now, man. Theresa May is ride or die with Brexit. I mean, even when the House of Lords said that, they were going to send it back to Parliament because they felt that EU citizens in the UK provinces, or in the UK territories, I should say, are actual citizens of the UK. And, Theresa May was saying, look, we don't care about the schematics. We want out. And that has gotten Scotland a little bit precarious, so that, we're going to talk about Scotland later on in the broadcast, but that has got the British pound sterling going haywire. You've got a lot of uncertainty in Asia at this point in time, because even the Chinese markets at this point are looking precarious. We have the Chinese government at its lowest cash reserves in 8 to 10 years or something to that capacity since the last crash. So that's really interesting, to say the least. So everybody wants the U.S. dollar. I mean, isn't it ironic? Everybody in the international community wants the U.S. dollar. They want to get cashed out in U.S. dollars. They want to be paid in U.S. dollars. And that's very interesting, folks, because as I've stated, the dollar, once upon a time, during that crash of 08-09, we didn't know if the dollar was even going to survive, all right? Now, and the reason we didn't know is because what was the motto back then? Keep printing, keep printing, keep printing money, bailouts, stimulus package 2s, cash giveaways. I mean, ridiculousness. But even with all that ridiculous, incompetent economic policy, because the international economic system is so uncertain at this point, the United States dollar is the safe bet in the currency market at this point. I mean, and not to mention, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is now becoming a valid source of hedging against all these fluctuations and very unsettling economic footing in most of these currencies in the currency market. So, with that being said, I didn't mean to get off on this tirade about currencies, but right now, even with all the stimulus packages, the quantitative easings, all the printing of U.S. dollars, everybody in the international community wants them, and because so many people want these United States dollars, it's providing a certain level of scarcity in the market. There's not that many dollars exchanging hands out here. It's very, very rare now, because most investors are holding on to their cash because they realize cash is king. Didn't I always say that? Didn't I say this was coming? I mean, Jesus Christ, the prognosticator of prognosticators strikes again. Now, let's continue going here, because I want to get to the crux of the matter here in some political news. So I want to run down these markets. But now that we have the United States currency sought after by international investors, creating scarcity within the circulation of United States dollars, well, then what that does is that provides a value increase in the United States dollar. So whenever you hear that the dollar increased in value every single day that I announce this, that's what this represents. It represents that so many people in the international community at this point want American dollars. They want to get cashed out in American currency, that there's a scarcity. There is a scarcity going on with U.S. dollars. And then you take a look at March 15th when the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates. And, folks, if you don't know why interest rates are raised, for the most part, it's raised so that the Federal Reserve can recall outstanding printing dollars, all those outstanding printing dollars, all that currency that they have printed out, the interest rate is supposed to recall all those dollars back out of circulation so that it can increase the dollar's value. That's the whole reason why you would increase interest rates, so that you can gain some integrity in the dollar. Now, we don't really have a problem with that right now. We don't have a problem with that right now. What we do have is we have a rising value dollar, and then a March 15th date where the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates, which is going to create an even more valuable dollar, which in my personal opinion, folks, is a recipe for stagflation. Stagflation, in that we're not necessarily in a bad economy because the dollar is in demand. The dollar is in demand, and when the dollar is in demand and it's very, very valuable, the prices of things are going to come down. I don't know if you've noticed this, folks. I've noticed it firsthand. I read all these advertisements and newspapers and that sort of thing because it gives you a gauge on what exactly is going on in the market. A lot of durable goods that I was looking at in some of these hardware stores, some of these appliances and that sort of thing, have come down tremendously in value, and it's because the value of the dollar has gone up. Now, somebody's probably going to ask, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, how do they know when the value of the dollar goes up? How the hell do they know to lower the prices? Well, when no one is spending the dollar, then by default, the dollar or the price of things come down because people are going to hold on to their dollars when the dollar is valuable. And right now, the dollar is valuable. Right now, the granny that has put her life savings in her damn mattress is literally in the money right now. I'm not even joking around. Is in the money because cash is king. Now, with that being said here, let's just go ahead. All right, let's just go ahead and continue going here. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial. Now, we're seeing decreases finally in this equities market in conjunction with the rise of the dollar. And that's what it should do, folks. Anytime you see a rise in the dollar, you should see negative numbers in the equities market and in the commodities market. This is fundamental finance. And that's what we need to get back to, for heaven's sake, all right? Fundamental finance. Anyway, let's get to the Dow Jones Industrial, shall we? Dow Jones Industrial's down today. It was down rather steep, and then it just kind of came back to a certain capacity, but ended up closing out down 51.37 points, a percentage decrease of 0.24%, closing out the Dow Jones Industrials at 20,954.34 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. So we're out of the 21,000 range. To be honest with you, we need this contraction to happen here. The more and more, I've always said, this damn inflated market goes up, and there's nothing justifying this. Listen, I wouldn't be bitching about this bull market if there was something justifying this, like some innovation or some boon in economy or economic productivity or that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, with that being said, let's just continue going here. 20,954.34 points for the Dow Jones Industrials. All right. Let's continue going here. We've got the S&P 500 down today, 7.81 points, a percentage decrease of 0.33%, closing out the S&P at 2,375.31 points. For the S&P 500. I'm glad we're seeing some gradual decreases in here, and I hope that some of you are cashing out. I don't understand why you wouldn't be cashing out at this point in time. Now, if you're worried about tax penalties, you may want to advise your tax consultant at this point. That's why we got to kick these Republicans in their ass. And, screw kicking them in their ass. Kick them in the balls is what we got to do to these damn Republicans so that they can pass the legislation, especially Trump's tax bill here. All right? Because it would be great if individuals could literally sell off and be able to just be taxed at 0% up until about $150,000 or $200,000. I mean, that's literally what everybody's waiting for. But I mean, by that time, I don't think that we're going to see Dow Jones at the rates or any of these composite indexes at the rates that we're seeing them today. So that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. All right, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, let's continue going here. All right, we've got S&P once again down 7.81 points, a percentage decrease of 0.33%, closing out the S&P at 2,375.31 points for the S&P 500. NASDAQ is also down 21.58 points, a percentage decrease of 0.37%. Closing out the NASDAQ at 5,849.18 points for the NASDAQ composite. Once again, I like where the markets are going. I don't like the decreases, obviously, in the markets, but yeah, because it's not conducive for pattern or day trading. That's why I have not. And I won't until I start seeing comparable volume to justify a stock to watch announcing in the morning, which I traditionally used to on Twitter. The only reason I haven't, folks, is because the volume is not justifying it in the pre-market. And I've told you how to, kind of gauge on what a good play is as a potential pattern or day trading play, and none of that has fit the criteria as far as I'm concerned for the past several sessions. So that's why we haven't heard anything, at least on the Twitter in the mornings, as it pertains to a stock to watch. Let's continue going, shall we? All right, let's get to the commodities here. Now, let's get to energy. Energy, now we're seeing weird stuff going on in energy because no one knows who to believe anymore. I mean, no one knows to believe OPEC. I mean, there's reports coming out that Russia has not decreased its production. So, I mean, that's flooding the market of oil that's accounted for from this OPEC agreed production cut. Well, I mean, the same reports I'm hearing out of Saudi Arabia. This is why, folks, I am not touching energy, well, at least oil, at least crude oil, and maybe even gasoline. I wouldn't touch any of those with a 10-foot pole. And as I stated, folks, I mean, there's too many producers on the world market. You've got America now wanting to open up its oil production and energy production capabilities. I mean, I just don't see any profitability. I know OPEC is trying to cut. I know they're trying to cut, but it's just not going to work. It's not working. It's not working. I know they wanted about $65, maybe $68 a barrel. It's not. They can't even make it happen because there's too many producers on the world market. And all these oil producers that had this monopoly on the oil sector, they're now starting to feel the pinch, folks. I mean, look at Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not the rich country as it used to be. You need to read the reports out of there. They have to inject. I mean, the Saudi royal family has to inject money out of the damn Saudi royal family's account into the Saudi banking system just to keep it solvent. I mean, they can't even pay contractors that they imported from, like, India. I mean, they're literally, I've read reports where Indian oil workers are stranded in Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia, just literally quit their work. I mean, they stopped pumping, and they can't pay these guys. They can't even pay them to get them the hell out of there. So, once again, I would not touch, all right? I would not touch energy with a 10-foot pole. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, with that being said, let's get to WTI sweet crude. WTI is down today 15 cents, a percentage decrease of 0.28%, closing out WTI at $53.18 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. Let's get to Brent crude oil, shall we? Brent crude, for some reason, is up. I mean, modestly, but still up. It is up 9 cents, a percentage increase of 0.16%, closing out Brent crude at $55.99 per barrel of Brent crude oil. Let's get to gasoline. Gasoline saw a kick up. And once again, whenever we see a kick up in gasoline, even though we're seeing decreases in oil, it's probably because of a refinery issue. There are very few refineries in the United States because of this overregulation of them. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, one or two of them may have been closed down because of the overregulation during the Obama administration, which unfortunately, when we saw $29 barrels of oil, we didn't see that reflected in the gas prices very much because we have a refinery issue. I mean, this oil has to be refined into gasoline, and when you don't have that many refineries to be able to appease demand, I mean, what we're seeing reflected, or what was being reflected in the oil markets at $29 a barrel, y'all remember that? That wasn't reflected in the gasoline market, man. So, once again, when you see an increase in gasoline, it's because of a refinery issue. And I say that we need to go ahead and kind of increase the production of new refineries as far as I'm concerned. And how do we do that? Deregulating these freaking gas companies, man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, gasoline up 1.68% increase on the day for gasoline. Natural gas, the feast or famine commodity, it was up today, folks. As a matter of fact, it closed down from what it was trading at throughout the day. Very, very interesting what's going on here. Natural gas is up 1.66% increase on the day for gasoline, or natural gas, 1.66% increase on the day. Heating oil also up 0.87% increase on the day. Let's go ahead and get to metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! Anyway, gold. Even though we saw some decreases in the equities because of the increased value in the U.S. dollar, it's not really reflected in the metals. And this is where we're getting a little bit of non-financial fundamentals going on here. And listen, I can justify to a certain reason, to a certain extent, why exactly metals isn't going down in conjunction with the rise of the dollar, because there's a lot of uncertainty, and Wall Street knows it. The insiders know it. I mean, they know when this damn thing starts crashing down. When I'm talking about the stock market, it's got to contract. It's got to. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's when. I mean, it's got to. And when it does, people want to buy in at these low rates because this is going to seem low, even though the dollar may be valuable. When the stock market crashes, when uncertainty hits, the investors go right to the safe haven, and that's metals.
Hi, I'm a helpful Southern California Honda person, and recently we've been doing random acts of helpfulness, like decorating a children's hospital, helping a mom get a tutor for her son, and even replacing stolen tools from a car break-in. And right now, during the Honda Dream Garage sales event, we can help you too with a great deal on an award-winning Honda, like the Accord. A 2017 Car and Driver 10 Best a record 31 times. Click the dealer locator link to find a dealer near you, and go to SoCalHondaDealers.com to suggest a random act of helpfulness for someone you know. Car and Driver, January 2017.
So that's why I'm saying it's very interesting what we're seeing here in the metals. Look at gold. It's only down $1 today. Only down $1. All right, percentage decrease of 0.08%. Closing out gold at $1,225.50 per troy ounce of gold. And check out silver. I mean, silver is up today, folks, considering the fact that we got a rise in the value of the dollar, decreases in equities. Very interesting what's going on here. Very interesting. We got silver up 7 cents, a percentage increase of 0.37%. Closing out silver at $17.81 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper up today, 1.50% increase on the day. We've got platinum, copper is down, 1.50% decrease on the day. I don't know if I said increase, sorry about that. We got platinum up modestly, 0.03% increase on the day. Let's go ahead and get to agriculture, folks. Now, we should see, as I've stated, because we're seeing an increase in the value of the dollar, we should see mostly red in the commodities. And the only time that we're not going to see red is when there is at least an interpreted scarcity by the commodities traders. at the CME exchange. That's the only reason why we're going to see any green in the agriculture sector. So let's go ahead and get down to it. Corn down 0.59% decrease on the day. But look at this. Wheat up 1.10% increase on the day for wheat. Oats up 1.14% increase on the day for oats. Rough rice down 0.10% decrease on the day. Soybean down 0.02% decrease on the day. Soybean oil down 0.32%, and canola down 0.13% decrease on the day for canola. Let's get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa, we saw a couple of bumps on the plus side for the past couple of sessions. It is down today, down 1.02% decrease on the day for cocoa. Coffee,
hey, dude, just don't talk to me. Don't talk to me unless I have my coffee, dude. Just don't talk to me,
Shut up, you stupid little freaking anal camel toe sporting fruit bowl. Shut up, you hipster fruit. Anyway, coffee is down today, folks. 1.29% decrease on the day for coffee. So what does that mean? Once again, all you fruit bowls out there that like going to Starbucks, looks like, I don't know what the hell it means for you guys. You idiots will still pay $15, $12 for a damn cup of coffee. I think it's ridiculous. But hey, that's your prerogative. But I would like to take this time to let everybody know that they need to boycott Starbucks. Boycott Starbucks. It's an anti-American company, for Christ's sake. It promised that it was going to hire 10,000 illegal immigrants to thumb the nose at the Trump administration. So boycott Starbucks. Stupid anti-American company trash. And as I've always stated, folks, all right, where you spend your money is a political statement. Always remember that. Anyway, let's get to sugar, shall we? Sugar is down 1.90%. Orange juice, good God, finally we're starting to see some increases in orange juice. Look, orange juice is up today, 3.21% increase on the day for orange juice. Good God. So I guess the traders are sensing a little bit of scarcity. Finally, Anyway, we got cotton up today, 1.44% increase on the day. Lumber up 0.27% increase on the day. Rubber is down. And it's down bad, for Christ's sake. I guess, nobody's going to use prophylactics this spring break. I don't know. I don't get it. Rubber is down, 2.32% decrease on the day for rubber. Ethanol is also down, 0.53% decrease on the day for ethanol. Let's get to livestock, shall we? Now, folks, I am loving, and look, I know people get tired of me saying this, but I am loving these decreases in the cattle, live cattle. I mean, you vegans, you keep vegan. You keep doing your vegan thing, all right? I don't care. You keep looking like emaciated cancer victims. I'm going to appreciate this damn cheap beef price, baby. You understand what I'm talking about? I mean, I'm talking about prime rib. I'm talking about beef tenderloin, baby. I'm talking about porterhouse. I'm talking about New York strips. I am having steak 5 times a week, sometimes twice a day, folks. That's what I'm talking about. So, hey, vegans, keep on veganing. Keep on veganing, all right? Anyway, we've got live cattle. Live cattle is down 0.37% decrease on the day for live cattle. Cattle feeder is also down today, 0.22% decrease on the day. And lean hogs, folks, even though we're seeing decreases in the cattle sector, we continue to see increases in lean hog. Lean hog is up 0.64% increase on the day. And before we close out the markets, folks, let's take a look at the Bitcoin price as we see it right now. And as we stated last Friday, Bitcoin has surpassed the price of gold. which is unfreaking believable to say. It's unfreaking believable. And listen, this wasn't hard to calculate, folks. Remember when we saw the dip at about 798, I said that, yeah, China may be manipulating the cryptocurrency market, but if more countries outlaw cash, which we have seen all across the globe today, folks, Venezuela, all right, India, Taiwan said that they're just about to implement a cashless society. The EU wants to implement it. I mean, the more and more people end up going towards a cashless society, all of a sudden, not just Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies are going to be a legitimate alternative. And unfortunately, because for whatever reason, and we all know the reason why they want to outlaw cash, folks, let's be honest, they want to outlaw cash because they want to be the overlords. And when I say they, I'm talking about big brother government. They want to be the overlords of every transaction that's made in the United States or in any country. They want to know every transaction. And folks, if that isn't totalitarianism of economic freedom, I don't know what is. And that's why I continue to encourage everybody. You cannot accept any kind of abolishing of physical currency. Because if you take a look at what's happening to India, they were the first ones to implement this strategy. Their small business is taking it on the teeth. Small businesses are closing up shop. Why? Who keeps open small businesses? Lower socioeconomic groups, impoverished individuals. And when I mean impoverished, I'm not talking about somebody who is just dirt poor. Poor people have a little money themselves, and they want to spend it with small community-based shops that they appreciate, that they know will keep that money that they spend there in the community, so on and so forth. So, I mean, in essence, outlawing cash is pretty much screwed Indian small business. So if we outlaw cash here in America, folks, first people that are going to be affected is the poor, the impoverished. I mean, as I stated, when I first came down here to San Antonio, I had a kid, barefoot, a Mexican kid, coming up to me while I was at a damn stoplight with a box full of candy apples, obviously trying to peddle me some candy apples, all right? Now, look, I was a little shocked by it, but regardless, I mean, the kid was trying to make a hustle. You can't blame him. And if I'd have bought a goddamn candy apple, I would have paid him in cash. I would have paid him in cash. And you know what? That's probably going to feed him. It's probably going to feed his family, whatever. Those little small opportunities are going to be taken away from impoverished people. Like man, folks, out here in San Antonio, if you're at any freaking bar, if you're at any freaking bar, you're going to have some old lady, hobbling in there with a freaking ice chest full of tamales. I'm not joking around. With an ice chest full of tamales saying, yeah, would you like some tamales? I'm not joking. I'm like, drunk at about 1 a.m. I'm being peddled tamales out here. But hey, look, I mean, people are buying them. I mean, everybody likes tamales out here in San Antonio. And look, they're paying the old lady in dollars, in American currency. So, in essence, I feel that if you eliminate hard cash, if you eliminate physical currency, first people that are going to be affected the most are the impoverished. The second people are the small business. So that's why, folks, we can never have the United States adopt a cashless society policy, because then that makes the corrupt government, which we're already seeing. We're already seeing how corrupt the Washington, D.C. establishment is, the Republican establishment, the Democratic establishment, the deep state intelligence community. We're already starting to see how corrupt these pieces of trash are, and now you want them to be the overlords of every cash transaction in the United States if we were to adopt a cashless society? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I'm telling you this right now. Hell no. Anyway, folks, let's just go ahead and get to the price of Bitcoin right now, folks. Bitcoin, as we speak right now, is $1,278.64 per Bitcoin. I mean, good God! I mean, are you kidding me? You've got to be kidding me. $1,278.64. We're pushing $1,300 freaking dollars here, man. We're pushing $1,300 of Bitcoin. Good God. Good God. Anyway, folks, that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, all right? Now, I hope that you had a good weekend, folks. I know I did. For you folks that are unaware, I had a little bit of a busy weekend. Don't necessarily want to discuss it, but either way, I had a decent weekend. And any time when you have a weekend, it's always a cause to celebrate, isn't it? I mean, the weekends have their own kind of spirit. They have their own, feeling to them. So whenever there's a weekend, I feel great. I feel good. I feel wonderful. And I hope that you did the same. Now that we've gotten the stock market and the financials out of the way, folks, let's get to the nitty-gritty here. Now, folks, the big story that has been the talk of all political news, if not news in general, is the allegation, and let me tell you, it shouldn't be an allegation, it is a fact, that Barack Obama spied on the Donald Trump campaign, his surrogates, and other people related to the campaign during the campaign of the presidential campaign of 2016. Now, right now, as we see it, folks, you've got the leftist, left-wing, lamestream, mainstream media in damage control. And the reason this allegation came about was because POTUS, the President of the United States, talking directly to the people via Twitter, folks, all right, he basically stated that Barack Obama had wiretapped the Trump Towers. Now, let me explain what Donald Trump is doing when trying to relate this to the American people. And this is what I've been trying to enlighten folks about as it pertains to the idea of political science. Now, folks, those of us that listen to this broadcast, most of us are pretty well versed as it pertains to domestic politics of the United States and in international affairs. Not to mention we have the financial component in the first hour. So everybody who pretty much listens to this broadcast, whether they're a troll or not, I mean, they're fairly intelligent. I mean, they're not idiots. All right? People are not morons that are listening to this broadcast. But the problem is political science is not about persuading people that already understand. Political science is about persuading people that don't even care to understand, but you want them to understand so they can submit and accept. Now, what do I mean by this, folks? Well, let me tell you what political science is in a nutshell. Remember back when I was broadcasting, as soon as they started first incepting this Trump-Russia repetitious narrative on the mainstream media, this was right after the election. Now, why did I say this was very important? I mean, I was complaining about this. I said, look, I know what the mainstream media is trying to do. They're trying to carve, or not really carve, but mold, I should say, the perspective of the American mind, of Joe Sixpack. And you have to understand who Joe Sixpack is, folks. Joe Sixpack is your all-American person, whether it's a man or woman, trans, pansexual, whatever, your all-American person that isn't as in tune as those of us that are tuning into the True Capitalist radio broadcast. I mean, those of you that are tuning in, like I said, you guys, regardless, I mean, are well-versed. I mean, if you're listening to this broadcast, you have an idea of what the hell's going on in the world, whether you agree with my perspective or not. You have an idea. The majority of Joe Sixpack America doesn't understand half, if not a quarter of this. And you see, what the Democrats have done, and they've done very effectively, is be able to construct very simplistic messages to average, everyday Joe Sixpack. So it's very easy for Joe Sixpack to interpret and accept. Because if Joe Sixpack can accept whatever's being told to Joe Sixpack, then whoever's in power can make their move. Now, let me explain what I'm saying when I was worried right after the election that the lamestream media was trying to correlate Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. They were just repeating this, repeating it. Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. Now it's molded in the minds of the American people right now that Trump and Russia have some sort of a connection, whether it's true or not. Because of the repetition of the lamestream media in molding the minds of Joe Sixpack has it in the back of their head because of the repetitious nonsense that pretty much is programming on mainstream media. That's why they call it television programming. You're being programmed. You get it? I mean, these people are going to believe that, there's some kind of Russia-Trump connection because they hear it so often. They hear it on CNN. They hear it on MSNBC. Sometimes they repeat it on their nightly news in their local news stations. I mean, it's because of that repetition, whether or not it's true or not, because they're able to mold this inception in the idea and in the minds of Joe Sixpack. That's what enables them to do what they're doing. That's why, folks, you have the deep state making these moves and basically leaking the information that we have been seeing leaking out of the White House to the press because they have already incepted in the minds of the American people that there's some sort of, they've equated Russia-Trump so hard in the minds of people, some people believe that Trump's a freaking Russian agent or some crap, even though it's not true. This is why we need to simplify our message, those of us on the right. I mean, of course, those of us on the right know the truth, the facts. We understand the complexities of the whole scene, of the whole political system. We understand this stuff. Joe Sixpack doesn't. And what we need to do as us being the new media, we are the new media, folks. You, me, we're the new media, and we need to use whatever influence we have online to help spread and disseminate news and information that completely contradicts the lamestream media and have it be repetitious. You see, that's why I encourage everybody to get a blog, get on YouTube, say what I'm saying, so that enough of us are saying it so that when Joe Sixpack is on the internet, searching the internet, and he sees habitual, stories that is simplified to Joe Sixpack's capacity, stating the contrary of what is being disseminated in the mainstream media, then we become the shapers and the molders of the perspective of the minds of Joe Sixpack. Now, folks, I have taken the initiative. I have on a tentative basis, I have already put up a news website dedicated to the capitalist news cycle, disseminating information that needs to be disseminated as it pertains to the capitalist revolution that has manifested in Donald Trump. All right, now I have tweeted a couple of articles relating to this new news website, folks, and if you don't know what it is, type in your browser right now, ghost.report. That's right, folks, ghost.report. There's only a few articles on there right now. We are currently writing fresh new content. We've got some interviews with some MPs in Britannia. We've got some, I'm telling you, we've got some things in the works. But the bottom line is that we have to disseminate the information however many people necessary so that Joe Sixpack realizes, man, I got on the internet. I got on the internet and I see nothing but people saying that, Obama spied on Trump. I mean, I saw it on one website. I didn't really agree with it. I thought it was a bunch of hooey. And then I kept seeing it. I kept seeing it all over the place, all over the internet out there. And I don't know. I mean, did Obama, did he spy on Trump? If he spied on Trump, I think that's horrible. I think that's sad. I think that's an abuse of justice. You get it? Because, look, those of us that are listening to this broadcast, look, I hate to keep reiterating this, man. Even the dumbest person that's listening to this broadcast is smarter than the average person as it pertains to the subject matters that are disseminated on this broadcast. Capitalism, politics, those sorts of things. All right? So that's why, in my personal opinion, I feel that we have to disseminate a simple message that Joe Sixpack can understand. And right now, folks, we need to disseminate the message that Obama spied on Donald Trump, and this is not a lie, this is not speculation, this is not rumor, all right? He spied on Trump. Now, how do we know this? Well, folks, I put together a real small piece on Ghost.report in which I link a video in which a radio talk show host and ex-chief of staff to a attorney general during the Reagan administration, Mark Levin, lays out the case, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, based on the public record that has been reported via the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Independent. I mean, he's making the case, beyond a shadow of a doubt that Barack Obama spied on the Trump campaign. Now, let me go ahead and retweet that article on Ghost Report. There it is right there, folks. Now, what we're trying to convey here, and what Levin lays out a case for as well in that video, is that not only was Donald Trump under surveillance by the Obama administration, but his surrogates, his campaign, all his advisors, everybody was under surveillance. According to the compiled reports that have been hidden in all the news that is disseminated out here in the news cycle, Mark Levin and his team were able to compile the evidence in which it states that Obama, 2 times, he went to the FISA courts to try to get Trump under some massive intelligence community-based surveillance. The first time, folks, according to reports, was in June of 2016. Can you believe that? June of 2016 is the first time that the Obama administration went to the FISA courts. Now, if you folks are unfamiliar with this, the FISA court is the specific court that the administration is supposed to go to so that they can obtain a legal warrant to have someone under wiretapped 24-hour surveillance. Now, according to reports, folks, and this was laid out by Mark Levin, you can go to that Twitter account, Politics Ghost. I just retweeted the article in which I link up the Mark Levin video. He states that twice, and this was based on public reporting, New York Times, The Independent, Washington Post. This is based upon the public record. 2 times, Obama went to the FISA courts to obtain a warrant to survey Trump, his campaign, and his surrogates. The first time, June 2016. It was denied. It was denied by the FISA courts, so they did not get access to putting Trump under surveillance legally. When was the second one? October 2016. October 2016, right before the election. Right before the election is when the Obama administration went to the FISA court and obtained the warrant necessary to wiretap Trump. This is on documented public record. You can look this up. On October 16th, how convenient, right before the election, as if they were a little concerned about the fact that Trump may win the election. So was this an insurance policy? Anyway, they loosened up the language on the I guess on the paperwork that Obama filed in connection with trying to put Trump under surveillance in the FISA court, and they approved it in October of 2016. Now, keep in mind, FISA court approves 24-hour wiretapping surveillance of Donald Trump, his campaign, and his surrogates. Okay? This is before the election. And then right after the election, what did I say? What did I say that I didn't like right after the election? Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump. That's all they were saying on the media. Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump. That's all they were saying. And I knew they were setting something up. I mean, I know how these idiots work. So as a result, folks, they obtained this FISA warrant in October of 2016. And you know what that means, folks? It means that right now, all the leaks that are happening from the deep state, the leaking of the conversation with the Australian Prime Minister and Trump, the leaking of the conversation between the Mexican officials and Trump, all these different leaks that are coming out, they're coming out from, quote, deep state surveillance, intelligent community-based folk, and they're leaking them to their CIA intelligence community-based cohorts that are in the lamestream media. And this is a fact, folks. The CIA is highly integrated with the lamestream media. If you don't believe me, you need to go look that up for yourself. I mean, take a look at Anderson Cooper, for Christ's sake. This idiot did freaking time with the CIA. So that's why I'm saying, folks, as of right now, what we are witnessing is because the FISA courts in 2016, October, right before the elections, because they approved Obama's surveillance of Donald Trump, right now we've got deep state intelligence community officials that are surveying Trump under the guise of legality. I'm not joking because, I haven't heard of any kind of a limitation of that warrant that was granted to the Obama administration in 2016, and it doesn't grant it to the Obama administration. What it grants it to the intelligence community or whatever agency they're in that wants to have Trump, his campaign, and his surrogates under surveillance. And they use this whole notion of Russia, this Russia Trump crap to do it. Now, folks, what makes this very, very disturbing is that this is unprecedented. I mean, this is the most vulgar abuse of power that I have ever seen in my life. Even Bernie Sanders was quoted as saying, if it's true that Obama spied on Trump, this is the worst abuse of power in American history. And that's Uncle Bernie Sanders saying that. That's Uncle Bernie. And it is, folks, because you have to think about this just 1 second, okay? What this means, okay? What this means is that we had a sitting president in Obama spying under intelligence community type surveillance the opposing party's presidential candidate during a presidential campaign. I mean, if that isn't corrupt beyond corrupt, I don't know what the hell is, folks. I mean, a sitting president spying and intelligence community-based surveying the presidential candidate of the opposing party during a presidential campaign? I don't know what else to say, man. And you know, the lamestream media is in damage control right now. NPR, I was told by one of the Inner Circle members, NPR is basically stating the following.
Well, if Obama did tap Donald Trump, he had the authority to do it.
Yeah, that's the narrative they were saying on there. CNN, on the other hand, is trying to call Trump nuts and crazy for even insinuating that Obama had him wiretapped. I mean, I'm telling you this right now. These people are in damage control. And, folks, it's in the public record. The New York Times, the Independent, the Washington Post, they reported on all this crap. That's why, look, go on my Twitter right now, Politics Ghost. I retweeted the article in which I show Mark Levin. He lays out the case, man. He lays out the case based on the public record. And he basically says, look, it is beyond a shadow of a doubt that not only the Obama administration was involved, he okayed this. He okayed this. And, folks, if this is the case, this man needs to be indicted. I mean, we cannot allow a sitting president to spy on an opposing party's presidential candidate during a presidential campaign. We cannot allow this. I don't care what party you're in. I don't care what your political perspective is. We can't allow that. We can't allow this, man. I can't believe that, well, I guess I can believe why this isn't mainstream news, but that's why I try to tell everybody, folks, we are the new media. We are the new media. And we have to disseminate this information. And there has to be a bunch of us that are doing it, so that Joe Sixpack, when they go on the internet and they see the bombardment of information that contradicts what the mainstream media says, they're going to realize that the people on the mainstream media ain't worth a crap. And they're liars, and they will say anything to just keep you glued on the boob tube so they can sell you more advertisement. That's all it is. And that's another thing we need to get to Joe Sixpack, is that, look, those people that are talking to you on the boob tube don't care about you. They're not telling you the truth. They're not even informing you. They're trying to sensationalize you. They're trying to hyper-sensationalize your emotions so that you can stay glued on the boob tube, so that you can watch more commercials, so that you can keep it on the news channel 24 hours a day. Do you understand? That's what this is all about. They don't care about you. And that's what we have to get across to Joe Sixpack out here. Anyway, folks, once again, Obama and his administration should be indicted for spying on the Donald Trump campaign in 2016. I mean, they tried to file a FISA request in June of 2016 and then was finally granted the second time, October 2016. I mean, this was a concerted effort in trying to put Trump under surveillance. I mean, let me tell you something. Richard Nixon was impeached for like a fraction of what the hell Obama has done. I mean, what does Obama have to do before we start throwing this son of a bitch in jail where he belongs? I mean, look at the freaking trail of tears that he's just left behind when he was president. Look at the immigration situation that he has caused in our country. I mean, this is sabotage. He used the immigration policy that he implemented as president. He used that as sabotage against the United States. He used the same strategy as the Europeans, folks. What Obama did with the refugee and the immigration policy was sabotage of Americana. And then Obamacare, for Christ's sake, that's economic sabotage, folks. That's why nobody has a full-time job anymore. Because every business owner is mandated to pay for an employee's health insurance. And, folks, the health insurance cost at many times supersede the cost of labor. So that's not, it doesn't make any economic sense. That's why there's no full-time jobs for people out here. It's because of Obamacare. It's economic sabotage. This Obama was an enemy of America. He always hated America. The proof is in his actions. And I say this time and time again, folks, please listen to me, man. Please listen to me. You want to know why the mainstream media is in the tank for Obama? You want to know why you've got Hollywood in the tank for Obama? Take a look at everybody who got paid in stimulus package 2. By God, look in stimulus package 2. All the people. I was over almost $1 trillion giveaway. Everybody got paid in stimulus package 2 that donated to the campaign contribution account of the Democrats or one Barack Obama. I'm talking about Wall Street. I'm talking about the big banks. Hollywood got millions of dollars. The pornographic industry got millions of dollars. The media got millions of dollars. I mean, do you understand me? This is why these people are so loyal to Obama. He paid these people off. The Democrats paid these people off in stimulus package 2. By God, somebody listen to me. By God, somebody listen to me. They paid these people off. That's why Hollywood is in the pocket of Obama. That's why we've got these bureaucrats in the pocket of Obama. That's why we've got higher education in the pocket of Obama, for Christ's sake. He paid all these people off. Stimulus package 2. I mean, we need to spread that around everybody's face. The biggest transfer in American history. The biggest wealth transfer in American history. And did he help anyone that was impoverished that he claimed he was going to change? Remember back in 2008, yes, we can change. You know what he did? He put his own black people. And whether, listen, I know when I talk about racial politics or things of that capacity, people get very sensitive. But the facts are the facts. He put his own people in economic bondage with entitlements, man. Entitlements. I think it's a shame that we had a black president, a supposed black president, and he threw back black America at least 40, 50, if not 60 years, politically, socially, and economically, especially economically. And I think it's a shame. I think it's an unbelievable shame. Unbelievable shame. Anyway, folks, we are now in the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started, I'd like for everybody to please spread it around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. It is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you have not done so, please follow me on Twitter. The Twitter name to follow is PoliticsGhost. All one word, no underscores. PoliticsGhost is the name to follow. Now, I know I'm supposed to be taking some Twitter shout-outs right now, folks, but we need to talk about some serious stuff. So I will take Twitter shout-outs here in the next 10 minutes. I know I'm running a little late here, but, folks, I cannot believe that the mainstream media is not covering the gross abuse of power by the previous administration against the Trump campaign. I mean, listen, I hate to keep repeating this, but it seems as if repetition is the only thing that gets through the psyche of everybody who's listening or looking or reading. This means that Barack Obama, a sitting president, all right, used the intelligence community, the surveillance state, against an opposing party's presidential candidate during a presidential campaign. I mean, if that isn't totalitarianism, if that isn't big brother government, I don't know what is. I have no idea what is. And you see what they're doing out here in the mainstream media. They're still trying to correlate Russia-Trump, 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 instead of talking about the gross, disgusting, pathetic, vulgar display of power and the abuse of power by the Obama and his administration. Once again, folks, 2 times the Obama administration went to the FISA courts to get warrants to illegally survey. Well, I guess the second time, and that's why I said the second time in October 2016, when the Obama administration was granted wiretapping type intelligence community-based surveying of Trump, his campaign, and his surrogates. Folks, I don't think that warrant has been closed. I mean, I'd like to know the status of that warrant, because that's why these intelligence community bastards think that they're so powerful, and they think that they're untouchable, because right now, folks, if the FISA courts actually gave the Obama administration approval to survey Trump, and now Obama's no longer in power, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because it's the intelligence community agency, whatever agency in question, that actually initiated this action in FISA in October 2016 that actually still has the warrant open. And that's why you're seeing the intelligence community gather this information legally. And I think that Trump needs to understand this. And for you folks that are unaware, there was a video footage outside of the Oval Office in which there was a screaming match between Reince Priebus, Stephen Bannon, and Donald Trump. And, of course, there's a screaming match, because what's happening here is they're being out-politicked, to be honest with you. Because you got to think about this, folks. Okay, Obama had Trump, his campaign, and his surrogates under 24-hour surveillance. I mean, 24-hour surveillance, and all they could come up with is what they've come up with to character assassinate Michael T. Flynn and Jeff Sessions. And both of those meetings of the Russian ambassador were ridiculous to implicate any kind of nefarious wrongdoing by either of those parties. But you see, because Joe Sixpack believes it, they had to cower under the pressure, man. They had to cower under the pressure. So they had to make sure that Michael T. Flynn steps down. Because remember, what is the basis of political science? And I hate to keep repeating this, but it bears repeating. The basis of political science is not whether I know or you know. Anybody on this broadcast pretty much knows. They're fairly intelligent. They have a decent grasp of what's going on domestically and internationally. All right, at least somewhat. Joe Sixpack doesn't know. And Joe Sixpack represents the majority of America. So the objective of political science, folks, is to be able to convince Joe Sixpack into believing whatever message that is being conveyed and accept it. Now, before I get to Twitter shout-outs, the reason I say that this whole Russia-Trump narrative, that it was built right after the election. Remember, right after Trump was elected, they built this narrative. Russia-Trump. Now it's molded in the mind of Joe Sixpack. And if they continue, I'm talking about the lamestream media, if they continue to be successful molding Joe Sixpack into believing that Trump and Russia are somehow correlated, Joe Sixpack will accept if Trump is removed from office, whether it's through arrest, whether it's through impeachment, or whether it's through assassination. I hate to say it, folks. I do not put it past the sick, disgusting, deep state intelligence community assholes to do something of this capacity. We've seen it before in JFK, and this is why we all have to be cognizant and all have to be behind Donald Trump, and we have to, man. I'm begging you, whatever influence that you have, whether you have a large following in your social media account, whether you have a blog, whether you have a YouTube channel, whatever social media you have, and you have people following you, listening to you, by God, convey these, Jesus Christ, convey these contradictions. Convey the freaking, expose the lies. Expose the lies of the mainstream media, man. We have to be repetitious about this, man. We have to. We have to be repetitious and simple in our message. We have to be simple. That's what the damn Democrats and the leftists have been able to do. That's how come they've been able to beat the right many times, because they simplify their message to make it attractive and sexy to Joe Sixpack and people that are dumber than Joe Sixpack. Simplified message, yet effective message that organizes people. That's what we need to focus on, folks. I'm telling you, it's us against the world right now. I mean, I can't reiterate this anymore. It's us against the world. The lamestream media is against us. All right? Both parties, both political parties in America are against the American people. the establishment, Democratic establishment, the Republican establishment, they are against the people. I mean, hell, take a look at how the Republican-dominated Congress is dragging their feet on legislation, for heaven's sake. I mean, take a look at how they're dragging their feet, folks. And you want to know why they're dragging their feet? They know the American people get tired. They know the American people will stop paying attention. They know the American people don't focus on politics all the time. When we have to, folks, we have to. If this is a government made for the people and by the people, well, by God, we've got to participate in the political process. And if we don't, we are witnessing the consequence of those actions with $20 trillion in debt, with an immigration policy that's threatening the integrity of Americana, with a divided country that has been stoked by the previous administration, with race-hustling politics, with divide-and-conquer politics. I mean, folks, this is what we have to convey to the people, that we can't go down this route. This is America. This is the land of opportunity, not handouts. This is the land where one can be born in poverty and through ambition and through their economic prowess, their knowledge, their creativity, their innovation, they can pull themselves out of an impoverished situation. No one is born in a capitalist American society into nothing and stays nothing unless they want to stay there. And I know there's a lot of people out here that say, well, Ghost, that's just horrible. You can't just say that people just want to stay there. Hey, I mean, you either want to run from the bottom or stay there. And that's what I did, folks. I mean, I said this time and time again. My folks kicked me out in the street and said, "Here, go ahead and make something of yourself there, boy. Go out there and make something of yourself." And did I cry? And did I feel sorry for myself? Did I sit here and say, "Oh, I ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of"? Absolutely not. I turned into an unadulterated capitalist.
Calling the beautifully redesigned 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA simply a four-door coupe is like describing a world-class athlete as just a good runner. With its sleek profile and powerful turbocharged engine, the CLA offers agility and design that are unmatched in its class, and it's available now at an exceptional price. Why drive any four-door coupe when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA? Visit MBUSA.com/CLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
And you know what capitalism has brought me? Capitalism has made me carve out whatever life I've wanted, whatever I've wanted to do. Right now, I'm in a position where I am an economic, independent person. I'm a man that can do whatever it is that he wants to do right now. But you want to know what I want to do? I want to be here. I want to be broadcasting. I want to be conveying the truth. Do you understand me? The truth! Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, look, before we get on to anything further, let's go ahead and get to some Twitter shout-outs. And for you folks that are unaware, all you've got to do is retweet the tweet that states True Capitalist Radio Live. That's True Capitalist Radio Live. You retweet that tweet on the Twitter account, I will give you a Twitter shout-out live right here on the broadcast, right here and now. Once again, retweet the tweet that states True Capitalist Radio Live, and I'll give you a shout-out live right here on the broadcast, right here and now. Hey, engineer, do we got any Twitter shout-outs to be had? All right, well, let's go ahead and get to some Twitter shout-outs right now. What's going on to the Green Leader? How you doing, man? What's going on to Art Hammond? What's going on to Lego Fan 420? What's going on to the Canuck Capitalist? Fidget my midget, for Christ's sake. What's going on? What's going on to Lord Poke? How you doing? We got Natural Nicole in the house. What's going on to Natural Nicole? Who else we got? We got the Smiler in the place. Tyson Rocket in the house. Ced Flanbird in the place. Dirk Pitt in the house. Who else do we got here? We got Remington in the house. We got Distillin' Gone Fishing. I'm pretty sure he's going to go ahead and put up another video on his YouTube channel there. We've got the 727 caller who wants out of the short bus, and I don't blame him. We've got Supa in the house. What's going on? We've got Deep State Engineer. Oh, okay, great. That's just great. We've got the Trans Bathroom. Look, we're going to talk about that at the end of the broadcast, all right? We're going to talk about that at the end of the broad. Let's not go there now. Congo Mueller, we've got Leave Milo Alone Ghost. Now, wait a minute. Why? Why you want me to leave Milo alone? Why is that? Huh? You're afraid I'm going to tell the goddamn truth about the son of a bitch? Leave Milo alone. Get the hell out of here, all right? We got Activated Allman, whoever the hell that is. We got Dr. Bristle in the place. Who else do we have here? Once again, if you want a Twitter shout-out, all you got to do is retweet the first tweet on my Twitter. Well, not the first tweet. The tweet that states True Capitalist Radio Live. All right, True Capitalist Radio Live. That's the tweet to retweet if you want a Twitter shout-out live right here on the broadcast right here and now, all right? Anyway, we've got Moose in the house. What's going on with Moose? CDI Fan 237. We've got Scarlet Moon. We got Lifehouse in the place. We've got Captain Cock. Oh, man, come on, man. Come on! I didn't mean to say that, folks. It's just these idiots, for heaven's sake. They're just sick, all right? They're really sick. We've got... I'm not going to say these disgusting names. You see, listen to me. You idiots that are putting these disgusting, filthy names on, I'm not going to say them, all right? You guys are sick. You should be ashamed of yourselves, but you're not, of course. Of course not. Anyway, we've got Strictly Diesel in the house. We've got Mike Pence 2017. You shut up, all right, Mike Pence 2017. Shove it up your ass, you son of a... Don't even kid around about that. Mike Pence 2017. You shove it up your ass. Shove it up your ass, for Christ's sake, man. Give me a break. Give me the mic. How dare you trolls even think about it? Look, shouldn't you trolls be doing something else? Huh? I thought we had a deal here. Anyway, we got Zyklon Biff in the house. What's going on? We got Edgar Raines. Who else do we have here, man? We got the Brony Network in the house. Obama tap ghosts next. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if I think I've been tapped for some time, if you want my personal opinion. I'm not even joking around. I'm not even kidding. I think that I've been tapped for some time, but you know what? Who cares? All right? Who cares? You want to know why? Because I am a capitalist, and there's nothing that they can do. Let me go ahead and take a drink here. Good stuff. Sergeant Yoda in the house. What's going on? Jew Capitalist Radio. Look, man, why do you all insist on calling me a Jew? And not to mention, why is being a Jew a bad thing? I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. And look at, I see people already. Oy vey, shut it down. Shut up, all right? Just shut your hole. Anyway, we got Rock Ape. What's going on to Rock Ape? We've got Joe Six Fudge Packer. Oh, come on, man. Don't make fun of Joe Six-Pack now. Don't make fun of Joe Six-Pack. We need to mold the perspective of Joe Six-Pack, man. We've got Honey Badger. Who else do we have here? We got Berkeley Hippie Basher. Oh, man, you see? Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, we're going to talk about that here in a second. And, look, I don't want to talk about that now. Let me just talk about that here in a second. Once again, if you want a Twitter shout-out, retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account. And, of course, the tweet to retweet is True Capitalist Radio Live. What's going on to NRJ Commando? We've got Armadillo Bandit, my apologies. Who else do we have here? We got, I'm not saying that disgusting name, you son of a bitch. Stop it with the sick names, man. Stop it with the sick-ass names. True Cashless Radio. Shut up, you stupid moron. We got Norwegian Capitalist, the Trans Can. There's a can with a pair of balls on it. God, Jesus Christ, man. We've got the Happy Mask Merchant. We've got Artron. I think I already said Artron Havoc, for Christ's sake. We've got Alamo Akbar. Look, don't make fun of the Texas martyrs, all right? Let me tell you something. 181 years ago today, the Texas martyrs fell at the Alamo, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare. Don't you dare make fun of the Texas martyrs. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Do not make fun of the Texas martyrs. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's all have a moment of silence right now for the Texas martyrs who died at the Alamo fighting for Texas, baby. You understand that? Let's go ahead and bow our heads in a moment of silence to the Texas martyrs. Amen. I'm telling you, the Texas martyrs live on, baby. The Texas martyrs live on. We got fortune versus optimism. Look, let's not talk about that. Look, I'm only going to say this briefly, okay? Look, you know, there's going to be some changes to TCR, okay? Now, for you trolls that were out there that bought Team Fortune cookie merch, I'm telling you, I couldn't ignore you guys. A lot of people just wanted me to say, you know what, screw them. Screw the trolls. Who cares if they bought Fortune cookie? Look, I can't do that, man. I mean, I can't do that. There's a lot of people that put their money where their mouth is. So what I did is I taught the trolls a lesson in capitalism. When they put their money where their mouth is, what did I do? Obviously, I had to oblige the Team Optimism, who didn't really want to hear Radio Graffiti too much anymore on this broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But at the same time, you've got the Saturday Night Troll Show, folks. And if you did not, if you weren't there for that, well, obviously you're not a troll and you probably don't want to be there. It's really obnoxious. A lot of trolling going on, a lot of trollception. So I basically stated that, look, since we had so many Fortune cookie merch purchases, they just purchased their own show, and we just had the Saturday Night Troll Show this Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, folks. The Saturday Night Troll Show is 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday night. So tune in, okay? I mean, it's all troll throughout the show. Nothing but troll. It's a Saturday Night Troll Show. And that should go to show you, man. That's sponsored. You know, the Saturday Night Troll Show is sponsored by the people who purchased Mr. Fortune cookies. So y'all should be proud of yourselves. I'm not even joking around. You know what I mean? And you know what that means? And I said this on Saturday. You know what this means? This means that I am working 6 days a week, baby. 6 days a week on internet broadcasting. I am the hardest working man in internet broadcasting today. Do you understand me? I am the hardest working man in internet broadcasting today, and I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this right now. One day, one goddamn day, they will be handing me the golden microphone and putting me into Broadcasting Hall of Fame, folks. I'm not even joking around. The hardest working man in broadcasting today. Anyway, let's continue going here. How about, who else do we have here? We got Alamo first, Goliad next. Just shut up, or I do not talk garbage about the Battle of Goliad. You know, I find it really funny that you trolls all of a sudden have gathered a lot of information about Texas history now that old Ghost, you know, is a descendant of the Texas martyrs. You know that's going to piss me off. You know what I'm saying? And look, here's some idiot, 181 years of treason. Man, you son of a bitch. You come to Texas and say it. You come to Texas and say it, you piece of crap. 181 years of treason, boy. Don't you dare make fun of the Texas martyrs. Don't you dare make fun of the Texas martyrs. Jesus Christ, man. How dare you? How dare you people on the internet make fun of the Texas martyrs? All right, boy? How dare you sons of bitches? Give me the mic. Give me the mic. How dare you sons of bitches? make fun of the Texas martyrs. I'm telling you, come down here to Texas and make fun of the Texas martyrs and see if your ass don't get your ass beat down into dog meat, boy. Jesus Christ. Look, I'm only going to take a couple more of these Twitter shout-outs, and I'm moving on, for Christ's sake. Oh, look, here's one. I want Ghost dead. Oh, that's great. That's fresh, for Christ's sake. I got fans that want me dead. My supposed fans want me dead. That's great. Son of a bitch. Anyway, we got General Capitalist in the house. We got Deflowered Yellow Rose. Look, don't talk about the Yellow Rose of Texas. Look, that's it. That's it. That's it. You know what? I'm not taking any more Twitter shout-outs. We're not putting up with this crap anymore. All right? This isn't some goddamn troll terrorist, cyber vermin, piece of garbage segment anymore. All right? It's over. It's over. All right? It's over, for Christ's sake. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. It's over. I mean, this is why we can't have nice things. I know I keep saying it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Jesus Christ. Anyway, look, I'm done, okay? I'm done with this. Let me move on, okay? Because there's a lot of subject matters, very important subject matters that we need to be discussing here. And the last thing we need to do is be sidetracked by a bunch of troll terrorists and cyber vermin. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some calls, all right? I want to take some calls here, all right? 516-453-9903 is the number to call here. And I do want to hear what people have to say. I want to hear what you have to say about Obama potentially, not potentially, he did spy on Donald Trump, and we have to push this narrative. We got to shove it down the throats of Joe Sixpack, man. We've got to make sure that everybody knows that Barack Obama, while he was a sitting president, spied on the opposing party's presidential candidate during a presidential campaign. You can't get any more corrupt than that. My God, you can't get any more corrupt than that, for heaven's sake. So I want to hear from you. What do you have to say about it, if you have anything to say about it? How about 917? You got anything to say about this whole Obama tapping situation? Yeah, of course not. Why are you even calling up, you stupid milky liquor? How about 773? What do you got to say about it? I mean, what is this? You see, I mean, this is why I don't take calls anymore. You see this? Nobody has any personality. Everybody's like, I don't really know what to say. Jesus Christ. You know what? Never mind. You know what? I don't even want to hear from you idiots. How about that? How about that? You people are calling me up and just sitting there playing with your goddamn Peter Popper. You know what? I don't want to hear from you people. I mean, here I am. I'm spilling my guts here. You know, I'm telling you people right now that we are in the midst of something that is unprecedented. I mean, we have a former president trying to undermine the current president's administration and utilizing the deep state to do so. This is not a laughing matter. This is serious goddamn business. And why Obama is walking the face of the planet a free man is beyond me. It's beyond me. Now, folks, let's get to another subject matter here, since nobody knows or has any kind of a personality to talk crap. All right? Since nobody has any personality to say a goddamn thing. Now, let's talk a little bit about this disgusting, fat, horrid leather bag. You know, this disgusting piece of trash, Loretta Lynch. And if you folks don't know who Loretta Lynch is, well, you're an idiot. She was the former Attorney General during the latter part of the Obama administration, okay? Now, there is a video that was released showing Loretta Lynch calling for, quote, blood on the streets and death. And death! I mean, folks, if you heard this video, let me go ahead and retweet The article on Ghost.report in which I link up this article. Take a look at it now. Take a look at it right now. I mean, this woman is calling for, quote, marching, blood, and death on the street. She's calling for it in this video. Now, is this a response to Trump's wiretapping allegations? I mean, seriously. Or is this a response to the slush fund they found in the Department of Justice, folks? Did y'all hear about this? I know I talked about it last week. Of course, it's not on the mainstream media. There was an illegal slush fund found in the previous administration's Department of Justice. I'm talking about Obama's administration. I'm talking about Obama's Department of Justice. A slush fund that was funded by taxpayer money, that basically funded domestic civil unrest organizations like Black Lives Matter. Yeah, our tax dollars was being used as a slush fund in the Department of Justice to fund these goddamn organizations that are causing civil unrest in the street today. So is it a coincidence why you got Loretta Lynch in this video calling for marching, blood, and death in the streets? I mean, can you believe this crap? I mean, is it a goddamn coincidence or not? Is it a goddamn coincidence or not? I mean, give me a break, man. How long are we going to take this crap, man? I mean, are we going to need to do a citizen's arrest, for heaven's sake, man? Are we going to have to do some kind of a citizen's arrest? Because, look, folks, for whatever reason, these people are getting away with high crimes and misdemeanors that they're not supposed to be getting away with. These people are not above the law. Obama, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, all these people, John Kerry, all of them, they are not above the law. They are not above the law, folks. And it seems to me that the former top cop of the Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch, has literally raped Lady Justice with no Vaseline, folks, by putting out this video calling for marching, blood, and death in the streets. Do you understand? I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about? I mean, this woman should be arrested for agitating this kind of violence. I mean, she has raped Lady Justice. She has demeaned the institution of the Department of Justice by coming out here and saying such a thing. And how in the hell and why in the hell no one is talking about this, I have no goddamn idea. That's why we have to disseminate the information. That's why we have to spread the information. That's why I implore you, I beg you, please, whenever I tweet out something related to this capacity, related to contradicting the lies by the mainstream media, and related to the Trump train, please retweet it, folks. Please retweet it, because remember, we have nobody on our side. We have nobody on our side. All we have is nothing more than us, the people. And the people in the mainstream media could care less about the people that are out here in social media, the people that are out here trying to disseminate the truth. They don't care. They're trying to shut us down. They're trying to outregulate us, and we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen, man. And the reason we can't let it happen, folks, is because this is unprecedented, what we're witnessing here. I mean, never in our American history have we seen a previous administration agitate violence against a current administration. Never. I mean, this is third world nation type of crap. This is what third world nations do. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, I cannot believe nobody is as livid as I am about this crap. I really don't understand why no one else is as livid as I am. I mean, and this is why I told you folks, this is the emergence of the capitalist right. We have to gather around and organize in back of one another out of a simplistic message. And as I stated, folks, the capitalist rights message is the three adherents capitalism, liberty, and nationalism, because right now, at this moment in history, at this moment in human history, nationalism is the last line in the stand against this globalist specter that's trying to overtake each and every one of our lives. I mean, folks, just think about it for a second. These globalists not only want to be in control of our life, they want to be in control of all life on the planet. I mean, I find it funny that we watch on the Discovery Channel and National Geographic Channel people going out claiming to be scientists, going out and hitting these damn animals with tranquilizer guns and putting what GPS tagging systems on them? Getting sharks out of the sea, out of the ocean, and tagging them with what GPS locators and a tagging system. I mean, do you understand? This globalist specter that is on our world right now is diabolically evil beyond anybody's comprehension, for Christ's sake. I know people are thinking, Ghost, you're silly. They just want to see science, dude. They're just doing that for science. Oh, yeah? How the hell do you know? How the hell do you know they're not trying to track every form of life on this planet, you moron? How the hell do you know? I mean, didn't we just talk about in the first hour we've got governments trying to eliminate physical cash? And why are we eliminating physical cash? Because they want to control every transaction in the world. You understand that? This is about total control, folks. That's all globalism is. And nationalism is the last line in the sand. I mean, it's the Civil War, the American Civil War on a global scale. What was the American Civil War? The Federalist versus states' rights. What's this new global revolution, this new global Civil War? It's globalism versus the nation states. And we cannot allow globalism to win, folks. And look, Loretta Lynch, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, the Democrat and Republican establishments, the lamestream media, these people are all in cahoots behind this grand conspiracy of globalism. I mean, they have no loyalty to this country. They have a vested interest in setting forth this track, this one track into a globalist infrastructure, because the people that are helping coordinate this whole conspiracy actually believe that they're going to be the important people. They're going to be the important people, for Christ's sake, right? They're going to be the important ones that are in the bureaucratic infrastructure of this globalist system. They actually believe that, folks. They actually believe that. And it's unbelievable. So, look, I didn't mean to get off on this whole tirade here, but once again, I mean, this video of former top cop of the Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch, calling for blood and death in the streets is disturbing. Now, the Democrats have since pulled off that video and have since tried to distance themselves from that comment. But, folks, it's out there. And this is a direct response to what Donald Trump is alluding to. And the fact is that this Department of Justice, with either Loretta Lynch or Eric Holder, has been a henchman, a legal henchman for the Obama administration. And they have done some horrific, nefarious activities, fast and furious. I could go on and on about all the different crimes, high crimes and misdemeanors that the Department of Justice has done under the name of Barack Obama. But, folks, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. What we need to do at this point is push forth the narrative that Barack Obama tapped Donald Trump, his campaign, his surrogates, illegally. And we need to say that Loretta Lynch and all these Democrats, the reason that they're advocating violence is because it's their last stand. It's their last stand because they know that they're against the ropes. I mean, they know they're against the ropes. That's why they're advocating all this violence. That's why they're doing all this crap. So anyway, with that being said, let's continue going, shall we? All right? I mean, it seems as if no one cares about this, right, folks?
Well, Obama tapped Trump. He was a Russian agent, so it's okay. Loretta Lynch called for blood in the streets and death in the streets. So what? So what? She's a leader. She's using her spotlight for good opportunities. I mean, that's the way people are reacting to this. This should be headline news. Everybody should be calling for Loretta Lynch's head for advocating such violence. But no, nobody's saying a goddamn thing. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me move on, for heaven's sake, all right? Now, the president revised his immigration reform in the midst of public scrutiny. And basically, it's the same plan minus Iraq. Because there were 7 countries in the 6-majority Muslim nation, I wouldn't say ban, it was a 90-day ban of issuances of new visas from what used to be 7 nations, now it's 6 nations. Trump has pulled off Iraq from those nations, and, I guess that was a compromise that needed to be done to some capacity because we did liberate these people, and apparently Iraq is kicking the crap out of ISIS in Mosul and other provinces within Iraq. So, I guess Trump figured we can, leave Iraq out of this equation. Another thing that he has done here, unfortunately, which is going to be much to the disliking of many people here, he is not going to stop refugees from coming into the country. He's going to suspend accepting refugees for 120 days and will not accept more than 50,000 refugees in the year. Now, that's down from 110,000 that Obama brought in from the previous year. So, with that being said, I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit not necessarily happy about the fact that we're still bringing in refugees, wild Yehudis, and that sort of thing. Now, regardless, even though the president has compromised to a certain capacity with this 6-nation ban, and it's only a 90-day ban on new visas until they can properly vet, extreme vetting. So, yeah, I know that people are disappointed. I know there was a lot of people that, wanted these refugees to stop coming into the country. Unfortunately, there's still going to be 50,000 of them coming in this year. And, listen, I know people are upset and disappointed at this situation, but take a look at what Trump tried to do and look at the outcry, the uproar, the litigation, all the problems that it caused. And why did those problems occur? Because Barack Obama brought the problem to American soil. And, when Trump went full throttle on this whole immigration ban, I mean, you've got these, for a lack of a better term, a bunch of cucks that are out here. No, please, we want the terrorists to come and live with us. What are you doing? We want the terrorists to come live with us, please. And that's what we're dealing with right now, folks. I mean, remember, the president has everything against him. The only thing he doesn't have against him is the people. And every day, the mainstream media, the establishment, everybody's trying to chip away that edge that he has on the people. That's the only thing keeping Donald Trump alive, is the fact that the people still believe in him. And, man, have you looked at every mainstream media outlet? They're trashing it, man. Every goddamn media outlet is a hit piece after hit piece after hit piece on Donald Trump, man. So all these promises that he wants to initiate and want to make into reality, he is being halted at every direction, even including his own party. Even including his own party. Now, with that being said here, let's go ahead and at least look on the bright side. Do y'all remember Khizr Khan? What was it?
the liquor. What do we call him? The liquor tickler. What do they call him on Ashley Madison? I forgot. They had an account for Kazir Khan on Ashley Madison. Well, here's a article, folks. Kazir Khan, he was trying to go on a trip to Canada and was told that he couldn't go into Canada because his travel privilege were being reviewed. Oh, that's so sad. Hey, Kazir Khan, why don't you try being put on a do-not-fly list, asshole? How about being an American and being put on a do-not-fly list because of what you say on the internet? How about that, Kazir Khan? This stupid asshole. Oh, you got the black soul, Donald Trump. You've got the black soul. Give me a break. Oh, yeah, his name was Kinky Liquor on Ashley Madison. And, of course, that particular story was brushed up under the rug as well. You know what? I bet you nobody realized, Mr. You got the black soul, Donald Trump. You got the black soul. I bet you nobody realized that this idiot was known as Kinky Liquor on Ashley Madison. And the only reason we know that is because Ashley Madison got hacked and dumped the data on the internets, and that's how come we know now why Kazir Khan doesn't really have much of an upper lip at this point in time. Oh! I'm just joking. Anyway, folks, there's still an element of enforcement, even though we have these new revised immigration policies by Donald Trump. I think Kazir Khan and him having trouble getting into Canada proves that the administration is looking after some nefarious characters. And look, we talked about Kazir Khan's connection to the Muslim Brotherhood. We talked about Kazir Khan's connections to not only that, but he worked at the same law firm, folks, as Loretta Lynch. He worked at the same law firm that does the taxes for Bill and Hillary Clinton. So it all connects, doesn't it, folks? It all comes full circle, doesn't it? I mean, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Anyway, folks, once again, Donald Trump revising his executive order, leaving out Iraq, now making it a 6-majority Muslim nation, 90-day ban on issuance of new visas. And he's going to suspend the refugee program for 120 days, and thereafter, unfortunately, he will accept no more than 50,000 refugees per year, down from the 110 that Barack Obama was bringing in during his tenure. I think 50,000, in my personal opinion, is way too many in my view. I'm sorry. It's just way too many, and I think, unfortunately, this is a part of a compromise, folks. He tried to go full throttle with his initial executive order, and take a look at all the opposition that he had. Take a look at all the opposition. I mean, not just opposition in the public arena, but they took this to court. They took this to court.
Calling the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA simply a compact SUV is like describing a cathedral as just 4 walls and a ceiling. The GLA is both a beautiful work of design and one of the most functional SUVs in its class, and it's available at an exceptional price. Why drive any compact SUV when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA? Visit MBUSA.com/GLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
So anyway, with that being said, folks, bittersweet news as it pertains to the revised immigration policy to Donald Trump, but I still believe that he is making America great again. So I think that it's good news, to say the least, that he is still pushing forth on this immigration reform amidst the public scrutiny. And not just public scrutiny as it pertains to the immigration policies, but just to everything that Donald Trump is doing, man. The mainstream, lamestream media is making some yellow, hyper-sensationalistic, journalistic crap hit piece on it, man. Jesus Christ. Give me my drink. Give me my drink, man. It sucks, man. I mean, but this is politics, folks. That's why I'm saying we, as the Trump train, we who believe in the manifestation of the capitalist revolution through Trump, we have to keep fighting, man. The leftists aren't going to stop fighting. The Democrats aren't going to stop fighting. The globalists are not going to stop fighting. We cannot stop fighting either. That's why, look, I'm doing this broadcast 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, trying to convey this information, man. I hope people are listening. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and move on to another subject matter. Now, did you all hear about this, quote, peace rally that was being held by pro-right-wing variants of splinter groups that were out there protesting supposedly in solidarity for free speech or whatever the case might be? Look, folks, I told you this was going to happen. Didn't I tell you that when Milo Yiannopoulos went in the belly of the liberal beast in Berkeley University, or, you know, and just literally stoked the whole civil unrest that happened and what ensued at that particular time, didn't I tell you that not only was that going to have egg on the face of those of us on the Trump train, but many people were going to copycat and follow suit and go down to Berkeley in an attempt to cause another agitation situation like Milo Yiannopoulos. I mean, didn't I say that? Didn't I say that Milo Yiannopoulos going out there to Berkeley was not good for anybody except for Milo Yiannopoulos and his freaking book sales? Because it threw egg on the face of the Trump train, folks. I mean, the narrative coming out of that initial Berkeley riot was that Milo Yiannopoulos not only instigated the riots, but that he had his own supposed agents or goons literally cause the violence themselves. Now, whether that's true or not, do you understand what political science mean? It doesn't matter. As long as Joe Sixpack thinks that Milo Yiannopoulos started the goddamn riot, that's all that matters. And to be honest with you, folks, Milo Yiannopoulos shouldn't have even been there, man. He shouldn't have been there. He knew, and anybody with common sense would have known that this freaking kind of method of agitation was going to stoke some kind of freaking violence. And the bad part about it is, folks, is now that Milo stoked that type of violence, you've got a lot of people now going to Berkeley trying to claim that they're trying to advocate free speech and all this other nonsense. And guess what? Guess who's meeting them down there? Antifa. Antifa, the leftists. Now, for you folks that are unaware, these people that are backing up financially Antifa are real big-time peeps. I'm talking the Ford Foundation. I'm talking the Soros Open Society Foundation. I'm talking about all these other weird splintered nonprofit-based groups. They are funding these Antifa folks. Now, the reason I bring this up, because there was some violence. I mean, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. There was some violence that ensued during this weekend's supposed peaceful protest for free speech out there at Berkeley. Of course there were violence. And the reason there was violence, folks, is because whether or not it was the right or the left that started it, it doesn't matter. Milo already gave the notion in the minds of Joe Sixpack that right-wing, alt-right, right-wing folk who go to Berkeley are going there with the intention of stoking violence. All right? Whether we agree with it or not, that's what the narrative that is being fed to Joe Sixpack, and that's what they believe. Now, I don't know if you've been reading the reports after the violent confrontations from this past weekend. They're blaming Trump supporters of being violent, folks. They're blaming Trump supporters for being violent, even though there was an old man that got maced in the face. I saw that picture. There was Antifa trying to agitate the situation. But what you people don't understand is this. The picture of Stick Man. Are y'all familiar with what happened to Stick Man? Stickman is this infamous character that has come out after this weekend's latest violence at Berkeley University. Stickman had this what looked like a kind of a big bamboo-like stick. I'm sure it wasn't bamboo. It was a big wooden stick, and a shield. Okay, and this guy, I think he also had a gas mask. I mean, he came prepared. Okay, this guy came prepared. All right, and he was there being confronted by Antifa, and Antifa folks were there, had their faces covered. They're cowards. You know, they don't want to be shown doing their violent, mischievous activity. They were hitting this guy up with pepper spray, and what the infamous Stickman did was take the stick and literally break it over the head of an Antifa protester who was trying to spray him with mace or pepper spray or whatever the hell kind of liquid he was trying to spray at this person. Literally broke the stick over the head of an Antifa idiot that was trying to cause agitation and violence. And, man, you know, just based on that shot, I mean, he broke the stick on this idiot's head, so you know his head was busted open. Unfortunately, folks, according to reports, Stickman was the only person arrested and now is facing, numerous felony counts and assault charges relating to what happened at this weekend's violent protest that ensued at Berkeley. Now, people ask me, well, Ghost, why are they only pursuing charges on Stickman? Why are they only pursuing charges on him? I'll tell you why, folks. Because the people that are running Antifa, these people are not only backed up financially, they're lawyered up. They're lawyered up. What that means is that they purposely go to these types of events to cause a physical confrontation with you and then try to take you to court, whether criminally or civilly or both, to try to mess with you even further after the initial confrontation that happens in whatever scenario or event necessary that caused the confrontation. A good case in point, I hate to bring up Alex Jones in this show because I think he's a Russian shill, but either way, he was a victim, unfortunately, of these commies. He was out in front of I believe, an anti-abortion protest. And in front of this anti-abortion protest were all these disgusting, despicable communists. I mean, communists that said that they love killing their kids, and I mean, just really, really sick stuff. And what happened is that these commies initiated a physical confrontation with Alex Jones. And because of that physical confrontation, Alex Jones actually had to go in through some extensive litigation with these communists because all these communists are lawyered up. All right, they're all lawyered up, man. They all have lawyers. They will take you to court. And that's what Stickman right now, the infamous character out of this weekend's melee out in Berkeley University, that's what he is the victim of right now. He is the victim of the communist and Antifa being lawyered up. And you know what they're going to argue? And you want to know why I think Stickman got arrested? Because there's a case that could be made, I'm sure some scumbag lawyer, especially in California, can argue this, that the Antifa protesters were asked to be there, whether by students or faculty alike, and that the protesters that were there were not asked to be there, and that all the Antifa protesters were doing in spraying spraying pepper spray at those supposed peaceful right-wing protesters is trying to protect the student body and the campus alike from this outside force that was trying to violently overtake the campus. Now, you see, whether that's true or not, you're going to have to argue that shit in court, excuse my French, and that's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to cost you a lot of time. It could potentially cost you your freedom if they take you to criminal court. It could cost you even more money if they take you to civil court. I mean, this is what I'm telling you, folks. I mean, you know what caused Stickman to go down? You know what caused that old man to go down, pepper sprayed? You know what caused the violence? Milo Yiannopoulos. That's who caused the damn violence, and I called this some time ago. Now look at all the damn mainstream media articles covering this event that happened this weekend. They're calling the right wing the agitators of violence. They're calling the right wing the people that are out there trying to stoke this type of violent image, this attitude, trying to hurt students. I mean, that particular footage of Stickman breaking a freaking stick on the head of Antifa, that can be interpreted many different ways, folks. It depends on how whoever's presenting the information sells it. And if CNN, MSNBC, if they sell it as if this man, and look, a case can be made in a court of law that this man was out there waiting for agitation. He had a stick, he had a shield, he had his face mask. I mean, a case can be made that he was went there with the intention for violence. And you see, folks, that's why Stickman is in jail right now, because, folks, these people are not stupid, man. I'm telling you, Antifa is backed up by big money. Antifa is up by big money, man. I mean, they're lawyered up. I mean, they're ready for these types of confrontations. So whenever confronting Antifa, do not get violent with them. And if they initiate touching you, you better be careful, because they can initiate touching you and then somehow argue in a court of law with all the damn team of lawyers they have with the Open Society and the Ford Foundation and other nonprofits. They'll make it seem as if you were the goddamn agitators, for heaven's sake. So that's why I'm saying, folks, this is why we are seeing the Milo Yiannopoulos effect at Berkeley. And I told you this was going to happen. Didn't I say this? I was against Milo Yiannopoulos going to this Berkeley situation because I knew this was going to happen. I said we were going to see copycats. I said that they were going to throw egg on people's faces. He's going to encourage people to go out there. And look, this is what's happening. And you know what? The left is winning the realm of public opinion because, look, what happened? They rallied out there for supposed free speech. And let's be honest, folks, it's freaking Berkeley University, man. It's the heart of liberalism, man. Commie freaking Fornia. I mean, give me a break. You know these people are going to freaking either act negatively, if not violent, for Christ's sake, man. And I remember when I was critical of Milo, what was everybody saying? Oh, well, Ghost, he's protecting our free speech. He's exercising his free speech. Oh, yeah, free speech? He's not even an American citizen, for Christ's sake. Milo Yiannopoulos is not even a goddamn American citizen. I mean, hello? Can we remember this, for Christ's sake? This guy's not even an American citizen. And you see what you people have indirectly done? You have made the point for the leftist. Because if you... And listen to this. This is how these leftists get you guys. This is how they get us. This is how they win the damn Joe Sixpacks of America. If we justify, according to freedom of speech, to an immigrant on a visa like Milo Yiannopoulos, well, then that same argument can be made towards the immigrants that are in this country now, that we are trying to send back to their country of origin. I mean, do you understand that this is the argument that can be made? You're making it for the leftists by saying that Milo Yiannopoulos is protecting the free speech and First Amendment. If you're according him First Amendment rights, then every immigrant has First Amendment rights. Do you understand that? I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I just don't understand that people can't comprehend this crap. Anyway, folks, we are now in the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started, I'd like for everybody to please spread it around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. We are live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you have not done so, please follow me on Twitter. All right, the Twitter name to follow is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow, folks. And, of course, folks, we do have the new online publication relating to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. You can type in your browser right now, ghost.report. Ghost.report, that is the new online media publication that we are slowly but surely getting off the ground relating to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Now that we've gotten that all out of the way, folks, once again, I do want to reiterate that we are seeing the Milo effect at the recent violence this past weekend at this rally that is supposed to be promoting free speech when all it did was do the same damn thing that Milo did, was cause violence, leave egg on the face of the Trump administration, which we don't need at this point in time. We don't need people feeding fodder to the goddamn media, pointing out that the supposed right wing are a bunch of violent lunatics. You understand that? We don't need that at this point in time. But, of course, for whatever reason, people continue to think that this is going to be effective when it's doing nothing but hurting our cause. It's hurting our goddamn cause. Anyway, let me move on, folks, because we are running out of time here. From what I understand, folks, the Republicans were going to introduce their Obamacare light version of health care reform. And at the time that I was listing this broadcast, the health reform bill had not been released yet. It has since been released, folks, and I have yet to look at it, but I can pretty much guesstimate what the hell these idiots are going to do. I pretty much guesstimate that they did not take out the mandate, which that's the basis of freaking Obamacare. We need to get rid of the freaking federal mandated health insurance. The federal government has no right to mandate American citizens to purchase anything. I mean, don't you people understand? Don't you people understand that if the government mandates you to buy something, that's technically a monopoly? I mean, and you wonder why health insurance premiums are rising through the roof. They're the only game in town, and they know it. I mean, the government is forcing you to buy health insurance. They're forcing you. And you see, folks, that's a monopoly. That's unconstitutional. That's not what the forefathers entailed when constructing our government. So I have not read the latest Obamacare light that the Republicans have put out. It barely came out about 30 minutes ago. I will see. All right, I will see what's going on here. But according to reports, it's 66 pages of the revisions of the 3,000-page Obamacare Act, or the Affordable Care Act is what it's called. They literally did nothing. Ah, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. They just made 66 pages of revisions to the 3,000-page document, and that is what the Republicans are claiming is repeal and replace Obamacare. I mean, can you believe this crap? Can you believe this? I mean, folks, this is why I'm telling you we have to continue to be pushing forward. Why do you think I made this broadcast more serious, all right, and gave the trolls their own show on Saturday, man? We have to take this serious, man. Please believe me, you got to take it serious, man. Get a blog. Get every social media account on every social media platform in the internet and promote yourself. I mean, promote yourself as somebody who disseminates news, disseminates the truth, and if you're going to commentate in any of these social media accounts, make sure it's something that is generally appealing so that you can have influence, folks. We are the new media, damn it. Do you understand me? We are the new media. We have to take responsibility, and we have to disseminate the information. We have to be repetitious about it, folks. That's the only way that Joe Sixpack is going to get their minds and their perspective molded properly is through repetition. That's why I'm calling on everybody, please, man. God damn it. Please, man. Jesus Christ, man. Give me my drink. This is the Republican Party, folks. This is the Republican establishment. I think everybody right now needs to tweet, needs to Facebook, needs to email, needs to call, needs to mail their congressman right now. This is not what the Republicans were elected to do. And what have I told you, folks? The Republican and Democratic establishment are one in the same. There are no two-party systems, folks. I mean, we're lucky to have Donald Trump. With our help, through the populist uprising, we were able to force the Republican Party to accept him as their presidential candidate. But right now, folks, he's got everybody against him. Trump has everybody against him, folks. The only people that aren't against him is us, the people, and we need to have his back. We need to have his back, folks. If we don't, our country falls. Our country depends on it. The spirit of Americana, the American dream, it falls apart. I'm telling you, folks, I am sick. I am sick of these Republicans. They haven't even been in office for a few months, and I'm already sick of these Republican establishment jerk-offs. That's why I'm saying the only way we're going to clean up Washington is if we unelect the bureaucratic establishment. There should be no one that's in the government that has been in the government more than 4 years. I'm serious. All these 10, 20, 30-year idiots, they need to be kicked out on their asses because they're the ones that caused the problems that we're in today. Do you understand me? They're the ones that caused the problem. And yet people keep electing them in. Keep electing them in. I have no idea. It's insanity. Do you understand that? Do you know that the definition of insanity is doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over? Over and over and over and doing the same damn thing, expecting a different outcome. All right? That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Man, we're not even into 50 days of Trump here. And this is, I mean, you know, you would think that Trump had already been in office for about 3 years. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, man. I'm telling you, we have to be political and we have to stay political. Do you understand? We've got to put pressure on these bureaucrats. Remember, man, if there's enough of us uprising, the system cracks. The system crumbles. The system folds. But there has to be enough of us vocal that understand what's going on and that affect Joe Sixpack for them to crack. And it needs all of our help, man. All of us need to contribute to this. All of us. If you care about this country, well then by God. By God. Now, according to reports, and I want to thank General Capitalist, according to reports, the mandate and taxes and penalties will be gone. But remember, folks, this is just the initial legislation that they put forth. It's got to go through subcommittee, then it's got to go to committee, then it's got to go to the House floor, and then it's got to go to the Senate committee, and then it's got to go to the Senate. Now, through all that phases of going through all these committees and floors, there's going to be a lot of amendments. There's going to be a lot of amendments added and taken away to this bill, folks. That's why we have to stay on top of what the hell these bureaucrats are doing whenever they send this damn bill to subcommittee, then to committee, then to the floor. Because a lot of things can be changed. They can initiate this legislation saying that they're taking away the penalty, taking away the mandate, and then at the last minute, right before it hits the Senate floor, they put it back in without anybody knowing about it. It's the classic bait and switch that Washington, D.C. is known for, folks. The classic bait and switch that Washington, D.C. is known for, and we cannot fall for it this time. We got to hold these bureaucrats' feet to the fire, man. We've got to do it. That's all there is to it. We've got to do it. Anyway, once again, Obamacare Light of health care reform that's initiated by the Republicans has been put out today as we speak. It was put out about 30 minutes ago, and it's nothing more than a 66-page revision of the 3,000-paged Affordable Care Act. What a bunch of disgusting, despicable scumbags these bureaucrats in the Republican Party are. Jesus Christ. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying this is no remedy whatsoever. I mean, these bureaucrats make me sick, man. Everybody in Washington, D.C. should be arrested for literally high crimes and misdemeanors against the goddamn people. I mean, seriously, $20 trillion in debt we're in. What do we have to show for it? Nothing. $14 trillion of that $20 trillion spent on wars. On wars. And this is why we're here, folks. This is why we're here. This is why I'm here trying to tell you why we're here. We've got to convey the message, man. We've got to be the emerging capitalist right. And as I stated, the capitalist right has three adherents, man: capitalism, liberty, and nationalism. And you know the basis of the capitalist right is difference, man. We embrace difference. You want to know why we embrace difference? Because difference is the essence of individualism. And individualism is the essence of capitalism. Because it takes the individual to master their own life, to master their own domain, utilizing capitalism. Anyway, folks, let me move on to another subject matter here. Once again, before we move on, Republicans introduced Obamacare Light version of the health care reform bill that they're going to initiate out here in Congress. Nothing more than a 66-page revision of the 3,000-page Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. Yeah, great going, bureaucrats. Jesus Christ. Look, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. Did y'all hear yesterday North Korea fires 5 missiles in a show of defiance to the world? I'm telling you, man, I think that the Trump administration, I think they're too busy worrying about what the hell's happening here domestically. I think they're missing a big opportunity in utilizing this sick maniac, Kim Jong-un, to unleash hell on the Asian Peninsula. You know, everybody's really concerned about this missile launch. China's concerned about it. Russia's concerned about it. Obviously, Japan is concerned about it. Some of the missiles landed in an area around their country. 5 of the missiles were launched. 1 of them didn't even take off, so it was a complete dud. But once again, man, Kim Jong-un is a complete maniac in the Asian Peninsula. I mean, he is launching more missiles, assassinating his brother, purging anyone who opposes him. I heard that he purged about 5 different higher upper echelon North Korean elites by firing an anti-aircraft gun at him. That's got to look pretty, huh? Firing an anti-aircraft gun at somebody. That's give me a break. But the reason I say this, folks, is because right now China is very concerned about what the hell North Korea is doing. Same with Russia. Same with everybody in the peninsula. I think that Trump could save the day and utilize this sick maniac as a mercenary to unleash hell in the Asian Peninsula. Because, listen, what this will do, this will tie up diplomatic and military resources of both China and Russia to potentially try to isolate, if not try to stop this in some sort of a containment strategy, you know, like some sort of a containment strategy. And if the Chinese and the Russians are utilizing military and diplomatic assets to contain North Korea, they're not as strong as flexing nuts like they have been here recently as it pertains to flexing nuts to America. Now, what I said is that by initiating some kind of diplomacy with Kim Jong-un is not a bad thing, because lest we forget, it was Bill Clinton under the Secretary of State Madeleine Albright that broke away from the 5-party talks and bilaterally negotiated with North Korea in 1994 during the tenure of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il's father. At that time, Kim Il-sung was talking about, wanting nuclear weapons and having nuclear ambitions.
And Madeleine Albright went down there and negotiated the Joint Framework Agreement in which we were supposed to pay North Korea to not build nuclear weapons. And a part of that agreement was not only us paying them, but we were supposed to build them an electrical grid system. I mean, we promised them a lot. Now, when George W. Bush took office, George W. Bush said that he was not going to acknowledge the Joint Framework Agreement, and that is when North Korea kicked out the United Nations and the IAEA and everybody who was basically covering the fact that these people were, or making sure of the fact that they were not going to have nuclear weapons. They kicked them out right after George W. Bush's election, and they've been belligerent ever since. And in my personal opinion, I think that Donald Trump has an opportunity to initiate dialogue with the North Koreans and go back to the Joint Framework Agreement of 1994 so that if any Democrats tried to claim any kind of foul play in this initiation of diplomacy with North Korea, we could just throw it back in their face that Bill Clinton, we're just obliging what Bill Clinton and Madeleine Albright agreed to in 1994. And the reason I'm saying this should be done, folks, is because I'm really sick of China and Russia thinking we're a bunch of chumps. And it's about time that we utilized somebody like a maniac like Kim Jong-un to unleash hell and havoc in the peninsula out there so that, like I said, it could pretty much tie up diplomacy and military assets of both Russia and China so they won't have so much nuts to flex at America. And look, China's very concerned about this. I don't think China really wants any kind of confrontation with North Korea. I mean, North Korea is right next door. You know, I mean, they could easily turn those missiles over there in China. What the hell's China going to do? What, is going to invade North Korea? North Korea has nothing to lose. I mean, it's in Kim Jong-un's favor right now to have a war. I mean, the number one social organization for a society is for war. And that's all there is to it. I mean, that's what organizes a people more than anything else. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So we shall see what happens with this North Korean situation on whether or not the Trump administration is going to initiate something. I think trying to initiate something in the effect of military to stop Kim Jong-un is not necessarily the best thing at this point. And not that North Korea is anything dangerous, but I think that there's some diplomatic channels that can be used to offset any kind of nut flexing by Russia and China, utilizing North Korea. I'm serious, man. I mean, I'm thinking like, one of these foreign policy developers and these foreign policy makers like Brzezinski and Kissinger. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the betterment of the United States. I'm seeing Russia and China flexing nuts at us. If we go back to the 1994 Joint Framework Agreement and North Korea all of a sudden becomes our mercenary, I mean, this guy's going to do whatever it takes to keep himself in power, keep himself the godlike figure in his own country, and if that takes some theaters of combat, I don't think that Kim Jong-un is above that. I think he's waiting for that. In my opinion, I think he's waiting for that. Anyway, let me move on to another subject matter. I've just brought up North Korea because they did fire 5 different missiles yesterday, put everybody on edge. And, Trump, if you're listening, or somebody that's within the Trump administration, try to initiate some level of diplomacy. Send freaking Dennis Rodman out there if necessary. All right? You know Dennis Rodman. Trump, send him out there and try to talk to Kim Jong-un and tell him, look, Kim, you remember that joint framework, whatever the hell they're talking about? They're willing to go back to that if you just stop being belligerent towards Japan and towards American allies and start, maybe pointing some of those missiles towards China and towards Russia, just to show them that you mean business and so on. I mean, something. I'm just saying. And the only reason I say Dennis Rodman is because this sick maniac, Kim Jong-un, loves this guy for whatever reason. I mean, he loves this guy, so why not just send him? I mean, do you think they're going to tap Dennis Rodman? I mean, Jesus Christ, just send him on a plane, send him over there. Anyway, with that being said, let's move on. I was just joking about the Dennis Rodman thing, but seriously, man, do something, Trump. This is a key opportunity in American foreign policy, in my opinion. Anyway, folks, let's talk a little bit about Scotland. That's right. You know, Scotland is calling for another independence vote on fears of a hard Brexit, folks. They're scared that a hard Brexit could potentially wipe out their economic productivity that Scotland has pretty much solidified itself in, and a lot of it has to do with business that Scotland is doing with the European Union. So they're at it again, folks. Now, I don't know if y'all remember the last time that they had a independence vote. I think this was several years back. 55% of the Scotland electorate voted no the last time to basically break away from the UK and make themselves their own country. But now that the threat of a hard Brexit is coming forth, you've got a lot of unionists within Scotland calling for another referendum vote right before Brexit, just so that they could potentially save themselves economically, because they are very, very afraid about the economic peril that Scotland will be in because of the EU's staunch stance about not doing business with Britannia when Brexit finally is implemented. Article 50 is finally implemented. Yeah, it was 2014 is when they had the last referendum vote for a independence vote, I should say, excuse me. And once again, 55% of the Scots said they wanted to stay in the UK. I wonder what that percentage is going to be now that you've got a pending hard Brexit. And this is what really is causing the Scotland independence vote right now, folks, is that they're scared. I mean, Scotland is actually a fairly decent economy at this point in time. And to be honest with you, it has a lot to do with the EU and the business that it does with the EU nation states. And a hard Brexit is going to put Scotland in a very, very precarious situation, and they know it. And for whatever reason, they're starting to have a nationalistic identity now that Brexit is right around the corner, and they want to stay in the EU. I mean, you know, they want to stay in the EU because they don't want their bread and butter, which is their economic, their economic progress, which has a lot to do with the dependency on the European Union. So this is going to be very interesting on whether or not Scotland is, first of all, going to even put forth another independence vote within Scotland. And if they do vote for their independence, I mean, is it valid? I mean, will the UK allow Scotland to leave? I mean, this just throws a whole new dynamic into Brexit. And of course, I wouldn't be surprised if the EU had a lot to do with this whole agitation of, once again, Scottish nationalism. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, you know, I'm sure they're all over Scotland telling everybody that a hard Brexit is going to put these people in the poorhouse. They're going to lose money. They're not going to get the business from the EU. It's screwed up, man. It's really, really screwed up. I mean, it's really, really screwed up here, and I mean, it kind of reminds us of our situation here in America. I mean, you've got the majority of Britain outside of London, Stan, and hey, by the way, did y'all hear about London, Stan? The mayor, Khazir Khan, is going to bring in 1.5 million migrants into London, Stan, before Article 50 is finally implemented. Can you believe this? 1.5 million immigrants into London, Stan. What did I tell you when Sadiq Khan was elected mayor? What did I tell you? I told you this son of a bitch was going to do this, and look at him. Look at him. He thinks he's the overlord of London, Stan. He thinks he's the Sultan of London, Stan, for heaven's sake.
Calling the beautifully redesigned 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA simply a four-door coupe is like describing a world-class athlete as just a good runner. With its sleek profile and powerful turbocharged engine, the CLA offers agility and design that are unmatched in its class. And it's available now at an exceptional price. Why drive any four-door coupe when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA? Visit MBUSA.com/CLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Oh, good God. Anyway, look, I didn't mean to get off on that tirade. I just wanted to give everybody a tidbit that, Sadiq Khan over here, I mean, what a sick maniac. He's going to bring in 1.5 million migrants into London stand. And why is he doing that, folks? Because I'm telling you, they are trying to influence your vote. Just like the immigration policy was trying to do here in America. That's why the Democrats are open borders. They want to dilute the electorate so that they can be elected to unlimited tenures of power. I mean, and Americana is no more. I mean, that's what they're trying to do to Britannia. I mean, they're trying to dilute the culture of Britannia. They've already done it to Germany. They've already done it to France. I mean, France is barely trying to crawl and scrape its way out, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me move on, for Christ's sake, all right? I mean, once again, Scotland is calling for another independence vote because they fear a hard Brexit. They fear economic fears. I mean, it's valid. But, man, I mean, this is just adding fuel to the fire of Brexit, man. I'm telling you, this is going to split Britannia apart. And you know who you have to thank for this? You got to thank Tony Blair. You got to thank, these vote Remain people. You got to thank these agitators of immigration and migrants. And, I mean, I feel bad for Britannia. I'm telling you. I know a lot of chaps from Britannia, and they're not in cahoots with any of this stuff. And I feel bad for Britannia. 1.5 million migrants coming into London stand, thanks to Mayor Khan of London stand. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's continue going on here, folks. Before we move on, Scotland calls for another independence vote on fears of a hard Brexit. Speaking of Brexit, did y'all hear about the EU? Now, first, the European Union wanted their own European Union army, right? Right, and that wasn't too long ago. I mean, they started calling for that, back in last summer? Maybe last spring sometime? You had Merkel calling for an EU army specifically for the European Union, which is insane because why do they need an army for? I mean, why does the EU need an army? Do they need an army to fight off any kind of outside forces, or do they need an army to force the nation states that are a part of the EU to submit to whatever the EU says, huh? I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. Just for a second. Think about that for a second. I mean, why does the EU want an army? Is it to try to fight off any outside exterior threat, or is it to forcefully submit all the nation states to the EU? I mean, they've already talked about taking over their economy. I mean, this is what I'm saying, folks. I mean, we're in some serious trouble. Aside from the EU, get this, wanting an army, did you hear now that the EU wants their own nuclear weapons? Oh, my God. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, how much more insanity do we have to go down before we start realizing that these globalists have very, very nefarious intent? All right, we cannot allow these globalists to continue to obtain power. Now the EU wants nukes? Now the EU wants nukes? I mean, can you imagine the EU with nuclear weapons? I mean, them voting on whether to nuke somebody in Belgium, Brussels, Belgium? Jesus Christ. I mean, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. The EU wants nuclear weapons. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Why does the EU want nuclear weapons? Why does the EU, the European Union, want nuclear weapons? Why? Are they going to try to be a global force for globalism? Are they going to try to threaten the nation states with those nukes? Jesus Christ. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. Give me a goddamn break. And according to the Green leader, he said that the EU actually wanted to take the UK and France's nuclear weapons. They actually wanted to take control of those, but both countries told them to F off. And now they want their own nuclear weapons, for Christ's sake. Look, this has got to stop. I mean, what the hell's NATO for? What the hell is NATO for then? You know what I mean? Can somebody explain to me what NATO's for Christ's sake? Oh, my God. I mean, this is insane, folks. I mean, somebody's got to stop these maniacs, man. I'm telling you, somebody's got to stop these globalist maniacs. These people are insane, man. The EU wants nukes for get the hell out of here. Oh, my God. This is the worst possible news that, that could happen on a global front. All right? The European Union wanting nuclear weapons. Just think about that for a second, man. I mean, who makes the decision on who's nuked? You know? Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, right off the hot wire, folks, WikiLeaks has just released a torrented, downloaded, encrypted file dump. The passphrase of this particular data dump will be made on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Let me go ahead and retweet that, folks. My apologies. This is just right off the hot wire. You know, a lot of things happen during this broadcast. Haven't you noticed that? I mean, a lot of them. Remember when the coup happened right as the broadcast was happening? Remember, a lot of things happen as the broadcast is happening. Anyway, here it is, folks. WikiLeaks encrypted release. Use a torrent downloader. All right. Use and the 7Z to decrypt. Passphrase will be made public tomorrow, Tuesday, Taco Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks. So once again, I just tweeted the tweet. If you have not looked at it, take a look at it right now. Politics Ghost. Looks like WikiLeaks is going to data dump something, and I hope it's something major. And it's something related to this Vault 7, folks, this Vault 7. I'm very interested to see in this data dump. We shall see what happens. I'm looking forward to it, folks. I mean, it's about time that we start seeing some data dumps that start affecting some of these goddamn deep state assholes that are taking it upon themselves to think that they're the new unelected government or the new unelected authority, and they've got to be stopped. Anyway, folks, once again, the European Union wants nuclear weapons. I mean, are you kidding me, folks? Are you kidding me? Anyway, let me move on to another subject. Have you heard about the tensions that's happening between Turkey and Germany? Erdogan, sometime, I think last week, or possibly this weekend, I forgot when exactly he made the statements, but he compared Germany, modern Germany, to Nazi Germany. I mean, that's pretty incendiary information, or pretty incendiary comments, I should say, by Erdogan, considering that Erdogan had cucked Merkel into actually prosecuting a comedian out of Germany. Do y'all remember this? When a German comedian in Germany made a poem about Erdogan, and actually Merkel allowed Erdogan to attempt to prosecute this German comedian within the borders of Germany for making fun of Erdogan? I mean, can you believe this crap? I'm not even joking around. I mean, Erdogan right now is comparing modern Germany to Nazi Germany, and the reason is because Germany did not allow a certain protest from happening within the country of Germany, and the protest was a pro-Turkish protest, basically promoting new constitutional referendums that are happening in Turkey. And, of course, those constitutional referendums pretty much give Erdogan, unbelievable kind of totalitarian-like authority. And I guess Turkish people within Germany wanted to organize a protest as it pertained to these referendum bills that are initiated out there in Turkey, and Germany didn't let them. Germany did not allow these Turkish, I guess, migrants within the German country to protest some kind of Turkish referendum of the Constitution. They didn't allow them to do it. And because Merkel and Germany didn't allow the Turkish migrants to do so, you have Erdogan coming out saying that modern Germany is now compared to Nazi Germany. I mean, what an idiot. What an idiot. I don't understand what Erdogan's trying to do. I mean, wasn't Erdogan trying to get into the European Union? I mean, wasn't Erdogan trying to get into the European Union, for Christ's sake, man? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. And not to mention, you couldn't have gotten a more passive partner than Merkel. Merkel has done everything Erdogan has said. Everything. And now that you got Merkel trying to run for re-election, I mean, it doesn't behoove her right now to allow a Turkish protest in the midst of a goddamn election. And you see, dumbass Erdogan doesn't understand that because, in my opinion, Erdogan is trying to make himself leader for life, for Christ's sake. So Turkey-German relations are at an all-time low after Erdogan makes this Nazi comparison. And, man, you're talking about incendiary language. I mean, what the hell's the future hold for Turkey and the European Union and NATO? I mean, what the hell's going on here with Turkey, man? What's Turkey's problem? I mean, what's Erdogan trying to do? I know that he's trying to gather as much of the old Ottoman Empire as he possibly can. That's why when I said after the coup, right after the coup, remember, the coup happened on Friday. I had a damn show on Sunday, and I said that he's going to move into northern Iraq, which he's done. He's going to move into Syria, which he's done. He's going to move into the Kurdish territories, which he's done, just so that he can continue to take up more and more land to recreate the Ottoman Empire. All that to recreate the Ottoman Empire, for Christ's sake. Good God, man. Anyway, once again, Turkey-Germany relations at a new low after Turkey's Erdogan compared modern-day Germany to Nazi Germany, which makes no freaking sense. What an idiot. Anyway, last but not least, folks, I want to talk about this subject matter here because it's a very important subject matter because I think that the transgender community is being usurped by the gays and lesbians and the bisexuals and the gender-fluid queers. Now, let me explain something here. Now, the Supreme Court said today that they're going to pass on hearing the transgendered bathroom case. Now, of course, you're having the LGBT movement supposedly up in arms, pissed off about this, thinking that this is a gross injustice and so on and so forth. But as I stated, folks, why is it that it's a disgusting, bull-nosed, greasy, bull-dyke lesbian who is suing and actually initiating this case and tried to initiate this case in the Supreme Court? Why is it a disgusting, fat, greasy, bull-nosed, bull-dyke doing this?
I mean, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, a bull dyke, wants to go into the men's bathroom? Why would a bull dyke want to go into the men's bathroom? You would think that a bull dyke, given the fact that she's attracted to, for a lack of a better term, as much cunnilingus as she could possibly imagine, you would think that she would live in the woman's bathroom, right? You would think this disgusting, fat, greasy bull dyke would live in the goddamn woman's bathroom. But no, you know what we have here? We've got some fat, greasy bull dyke that wants to bring some attention whoredom on herself, and she's usurping the transgendered strife just so that they can put some attention on her for a lawsuit that I'm a bull dyke and I want to pee standing up with the boys. I want to pee standing up with the boys. Look, this bathroom issue did not become an issue until we had people that are not transgender, that are not living as females or males 24 hours a day. I mean, these people that are not passable, okay? These people that are not passable, they're the ones that are initiating these cases and are trying to put forth these whacked-out perceptions of what constitutes a man or a woman's bathroom. You understand? I mean, do you think that a passable transgendered female that really no one could clock, do you think that she is going to have a problem going into the woman's bathroom if nature calls? No. No one's going to have a problem. No one's even going to question it. Do you think a trans man, some woman who has made the full transition, I'm talking full transition, folks. I mean, there are trans men now that look like men. You know, they get the breast reduction, they take the testosterone, it makes their voices deeper, they grow hair on their face, hair on their chest, I mean, the whole 9 yards. I mean, if it's a true, genuine trans man, do you think that anyone is going to make a mistake and say, hey, you're not supposed to go in that bathroom? No. You know who wants to push this whole bathroom initiative? These people that are non-passable transgendered. I'm talking cross-dressers. I'm talking transvestites. I'm talking people that put on a dress and yet have a Fu Manchu beard and mustache. All right? I'm talking fat, greasy bull dykes that have no reason, I repeat, no reason to be bitching about wanting to go into the boys' bathroom when they like licking the pearl tongue 24/7 because they're bull dykes. So that's why I'm saying, folks, in my personal opinion, I don't think that bathrooms is the big issue for the transgendered community in America today. I think it's the violence being inflicted, mindless violence being inflicted on the transgendered community. You know, we have had 2 transgendered people killed in cold blood last week in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, right, when everybody's supposed to be having a good time, right? 2 transgendered females killed, brutally killed, and you want to know why you don't hear about it, folks? Because it's the black community that's killing these transgenders. And you see, the mainstream media can't pick which minority group to, show more virtue signaling for, so they're not even going to cover it. And you see, instead, they'll cover some fat, disgusting bull dyke who supposedly wants to go pee with the boys and go take it to the Supreme Court. That's what they want to cover. So, in my personal opinion, I think that the transgendered community is being highly underrepresented as it pertains to them and the hate crimes that are now inflicted upon them. 2 transgendered females were killed in New Orleans by black assailants, by black perpetrators. And you don't hear it in the media because, who is the media to choose? Which side do they choose? Which side do they choose? Do they choose Black Lives Matter or do they choose the transgendered lives matter? You see, that's why they don't even cover it. So in my personal opinion, I don't think bathrooms is a transgendered issue at this point in time. I think that it's the fact that for whatever reason, in modern-day society today, in today's 2017 America, that we still have people killing someone else because they happen to be a transgendered person. All right? I mean, I don't understand killing somebody because of that. I saw the footage of that one transgendered that I tweeted about, in which she was chased down on the streets, and when she finally gave up and said, "Look, I'm sorry, I don't know what you want from me," the black thug just started beating her ass, popping her in the face, punching her in the mouth, and then just pulled out a gun and shot her. You know, I just pulled out a gun and shot her. So, I mean, in my opinion, folks, I'm glad that the Supreme Court didn't touch this bathroom issue, because I think that the transgendered community needs to focus their attention less on where they're going to, you know, make water or do poo-poo, and worry more about whether or not that they can walk the streets safely in this modern-day America. I'm serious, man. I mean, this is America 2017, and people are still killing people over this. This is the true story here. This is what the transgender community should be discussing, not freaking bathrooms, man. Jesus Christ, man. I'm serious, not freaking bathrooms. I mean, wake up, transgender community. You're being targeted. You're being targeted for hatred, for Christ's sake, man. Jesus Christ. And this is what should be the focal point of the transgender community, is the violence and the hatred that's inflicted upon them. And another thing, there's a schism that's happening within the LGBT community, folks. And I think that lesbians don't like transgenders. Lesbians don't like gays either, because they're men. So lesbians really don't like anybody. And from what I understand, according to many that are within the community, the reason the L is at the beginning is because that's what the lesbians advocated for. They wanted to be first. They wanted to be first. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and gender fluid queers. LGBTQ. I'm telling you this. I'm just saying. I'm just saying this at this point in time. The transgender community needs to focus less on the fact of politics. Because let's be honest, the left wing just abuses you for the sake of virtue signaling and getting news reports in the media. And the right wing, as far as the capitalist right is concerned, it really doesn't matter. What matters is if you're a productive member of society, which many transgenders are, and that are taxpayers, and that are not inflicting hate or violence on others. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it, man. So anyway, I implore the transgender community, you need to disconnect yourself and disassociate yourself from lesbians, gays, and bisexuals. They have no idea the strife that a transgendered person goes through. I don't want to get into the whole technicalities of it, but it's time for the transgenders to say, you know what, lesbian and gays, you don't have anything to do with us. You don't know what it's like. You can't affiliate us with our strife. And look, I implore the transgenders to start thinking in this independent capacity. Anyway, folks, we got about 7 minutes left in the broadcast. And, since we have kind of completely eliminated and taken out radio graffiti, I'm going to go ahead and give like a last little 7 minutes of some radio graffiti. Once again, this show is no longer going to have a humongous contingent of radio graffiti because
we have the Troll Show on Saturday night. The Saturday Night Troll Show is specifically geared towards trolling. As a matter of fact, the first hour this Saturday night, we're going to talk a little bit about gaming. We're going to talk a little bit about the Nintendo Switch. And I want to give everybody, see all the trolls, what they have insight on their perspective of that gaming console. And then we're going to, get to Radio Graffiti. Full hour of Radio Graffiti on Saturday night, folks. 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time is the Saturday Night Troll Show. So that is where the majority of the trolling is going to take place. This show, True Capitalist Radio, is going to be serious business. It's going to be serious commentary because, man, we're in some serious times. And once again, I want to remind everybody that the Mr. Fortune Cookie buyers were the ones that created, all right, with their purchases, their mass purchases of Mr. Fortune Cookie, they created the Saturday Night Troll Show. And you see, this is a good lesson for you trolls. You put your money where your mouth is, and you know what? You made things happen. You made a whole new spin-off show happen because that's what capitalists do. You put your money where your mouth is, you make things happen. You make things happen. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the last 5 minutes of the show of some Radio Graffiti right now. And, of course, Radio Graffiti, the part of the broadcast where the spectators become a part of the spectacle. Give me a call right now, 516-453-9903, and you have at least 3 to 4 seconds to say whatever it is that's on your mind right now. That's why we call this Radio Graffiti. So let's see what we have. 5 minutes left. Let's see what we got here. How about Anonymous Radio Graffiti?
Hey, I was just wondering on the $2,000 you made. Are you gonna buy a golden yarmulke with all that autograph money?
Well, what are you talking about? Golden yarmulke? I mean, it's unfortunate. I know that you're upset that I sold so many Mr. Fortune Cookie and Mr. Optimism. Man, don't hate me. Why don't you be me? Why don't you go out and you do the same damn thing? Oh, that's right, you can't. So yeah, okay. Anonymous Radio Graffiti.
Oi, boy, oi, boy. Now what you hear is not some crap. It's me and my buddies doing a rap. We may be old, but we are not feeble. We go by the name of the Yiddish people. My name is Max, and I was able to tax. I'm the world's best CPA. I don't mean to boast. I don't mean to brag. With me, you will never pay.
Look, I'm getting tired of this Jew stuff. All right, cut it out with this Jew crap, or I'm ending this garbage. You understand? I am not a Jew.
Calling the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA simply a compact SUV is like describing a cathedral as just 4 walls and a ceiling. The GLA is both a beautiful work of design and one of the most functional SUVs in its class, and it's available at an exceptional price. Why drive any compact SUV when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA? Visit MBUSA.com/GLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Hi, I'm a helpful Southern California Honda person, and recently we've been doing random acts of helpfulness. Like decorating a children's hospital, helping a mom get a tutor for her son, and even replacing stolen tools from a car break-in. And right now, during the Honda Dream Garage sales event, we can help you too with a great deal on an award-winning Honda. Like the Accord, a 2017 Car and Driver 10 Best a record 31 times. Click the dealer locator link to find a dealer near you, and go to SoCalHondaDealers.com to suggest a random act of helpfulness for someone you know. Car and Driver, January 2017.
Anonymous Radio Graffiti. Did you actually remix me with the Cleveland show with me talking about Templeton pooping on the carpet? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anonymous Radio Graffiti.
My name is Cleveland Brown.
Oh, man, that's a horrible Obama phone, man. I'm telling you, you could tell that you're brought up in the ghetto. You got an Obama computer, for heaven's sake, man. That's pretty bad. You should be ashamed of yourself, seriously. I mean, how much are computers nowadays? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, why don't you get yourself a Raspberry Pi or some crap? How about 831 Radio Graffiti?
Hey, how's it going, Ghost? I've been really triggered about this whole immigration thing. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I wanted Trump in office, is to really get something done about these Muslims. And I mean, I'm serious. This is really, I mean, I don't even know how much he's going to cuck beyond this point. I mean, this is kind of turning my views on Trump, to be honest. I mean, I voted for the man.
Well, that's unfortunate because, he's got the whole world against him. And just because, he has to compromise because Obama set the goddamn social landscape in the current position that it's in, you're just going to go ahead and turn your face the other way. I'm sure you'd do the same thing to your mother, all right? Anonymous, Radio Graffiti.
We got 8 equal.
Radio Graffiti.
Yeah, they call me John Conquest. I got a 15.5 right here between my legs. It's a little lonely, so come on over here and sit on it, huh?
Oh, I'd love to, but I have better plans.
Hold on a second. What the hell is this?
I'm not letting that sausage out of your body unless you have your dose of milk.
What did you just say to me?
After all, your anus looks so hungry.
What?
Can't let you have all the fun.
Wait, whoa, wait!
Don't worry, honey. I'll make you worthwhile. I'm gonna suck you dry.
Oh, my heart.
I like what she did.
Are you joking me? Did you splice me getting raped by a tranny? You sick asshole! You disgusting freak! You're freak! You're sick! They spliced me being raped by a goddamn tranny, man! How dare you! Yeah, this is why there's no more Radio Graffiti anymore, you dumb scumbag. Give me a mic! This is why we don't have Radio Graffiti anymore, for Christ's sake. All right, you know what? That's it, for Christ's sake. All right, follow me on Twitter, folks, all right? Politics Ghost is the name to follow. All one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost. And, of course, folks, go to the new media outlet that yours truly has created, spawned by True Capitalist Radio. Type in your browser, ghost.report. Ghost.report in your browser, folks. Anyway, I'm going to be back here tomorrow for a Taco Tuesday, but God damn it, man. I mean, I'm sick of these freaking troll terrorists. Bastards! Freaking raped by a tranny!